Uh-huh. All right, so we are in action here. Just run through some age ranges. Sure we got the stats right. 1988, Dennis Berinchyk. 23 years old. And Jonathan Alonso, 1990, puts him at 21 years old. Sanjarbek 89, 99, 09, puts him at 22 years old. And 91, puts him at 20 years old. Thomas Stalker. Seven years old. And Solyanikov, youngster at 19 years old. Running through the ages here of each of these boxers, confirming 96, 06, 25 years old. And 86, 96, 06, 25 years old.
Zavatskoy bir dənə erməni qalıb, Zavatskoy.
75 lira oldu. O bu yürütəyi keçdi, Nysanbekov var.
Kazakı.
Yox, Kazak.
Meksikalı.
Kate, 82, 92, 02.
Ona elürsüz, ona elürsüz. Gah belə çəkirsən, gah belə çəkirsən.
Evdəkilər bizə köçüb, razılıq zad verir. Necə çəkmişsin? Elə Muhammedlər çəkmişsiniz ki, gəl yatır, gəl kim yoxsa.
Oradan çəkmişsin, bu tərəf.
Ay, sağ ol. Mən sənə dedim dünənlərdə, baxırım.
Dünən var idim orada. Görmən İsrail'də yatmış. İnternetə düşmüş.
And Yigit is 20 years old.
Ama dünən qəşəng oradan çəkiyor. Düşmür.
And Lopez, 98, 08, 23 years old.
Düz belə çəkir.
Sen harada
Put him 99, 09, 22 from Mangiacarpre. And Chladek, 90, 21 years old. Erdine, 19, 29 years old. Confirm that, 90, 21, 22, 82, 29, 85, 95, 05, 26 years old. And Ming Fang Long, 98, 08, 23 years old. Keep talking. 23 years old for Meng Fang Long. Just running through the ages here. Jason Anthony Monroy, born in 1985, puts him at 26 years old. And he is in the red corner and the blue corner from Kazakhstan, born in 1989, puts him at 22 years old. He is Nysanbekov And Elshad Rasulev from Uzbekistan, born in '86, makes him 25 years old. And Yamaguchi Florentino from Brazil, born in 1987, makes him 24 years old. Not by choice, but by necessity. Actually, B24. That puts him at 23 by necessity. And yes.
Ses götürür da ses. He? Ses götürür. Bu rengin sesini herden götürür.
Bizim danışımız.
Yok, indi bu dəqiqə yox.
Yox, yavaş çəkəndə.
Çəkəndə nəsə səs gəlir ki.
Söz də hərdən.
Bəzən danışırıq.
Yox, elə gəlmir.
Ya, bura. Boyu analiz edir. Alı buyursa. Mən də burada.
Yürü. Azərbaycan'da.
Bir dənə var.
İndi birinci əli zadı.
Yox, orada deyil. Azərbaycan.
Bizimki ikinci seri.
Sana.
ASTV'dir ha bu.
Yox. Ailə TV.
Bütün dünyaya gedir ha bu.
İnternetle.
İnternetler verir ha. Bütün dünya. Olay da plat edirlər. Amma internete çekiyor.
İnternetə nə var?
Bunu taxtığımıza eşitmir ama.
Problem yox.
Bugündən düşüb ha şey. Tərtəmlər deyil, altın alır. Qiymətlər sağ ol. İnternet çok az. İşi böyle vermeyəcək onu. Yığ verməyə. Deyirəm, burada da gəlir. Satıb şey, burada.
Efirdə misin ya?
Deyirlər, yiyəcək, mən buradayım, bu problem yox. Amma buradadır. Yığ vermə.
Sənin yanından danışır, sənin yanından danışır. Dedim ki, buradayım, doğrudan buradayım. Sırtaforu qalxmışım.
Yox, sən dedin.
Maşını çıxartdım traktora. Yol qurağını.
Aynı uşaq, şirin
Qurağını istəndikdən sonra çıxardım. Avtobuslar olur.
Valla avtobus yanıb belə. Mən yabını gəl çağırdım. Bu burada. Ay avcıydı. Gətirib Nivo'da saxlayıb mənim qabağımda. Burada çıxış yoxdur. Axır avtobus tapdım, dala verim çıxdım. Bu vaxtına da çıxdım.
O diktir deyil. O diktir. Diktir də o.
Judge number 1, Italy. Judge number 2, Korea. Judge number 3, Colombia. Judge number 4, Canada. Judge number 5, Morocco.
Aparıcı. Yok. Emnur olmalı. Orada otur. Yok, işte bayırda dur. Şunu çekilişle danışın.
Orada bax saçdı.
Tamam.
Referee, Slovenia. Judge number 1, Croatia.
Buradan git.
Hello everybody, and welcome here and now to the Heydar Aliyev Sports Complex in Baku, Azerbaijan. The AIBA World Boxing Championships is the signature event on the AIBA calendar, going back 35 years to its beginnings in 1974, when the AIBA World Boxing Championships made its debut in one of the heartlands of boxing, La Habana, Cuba. Boxers aged 17 to 34 are united every 2 years to compete against the best in their division from around the world. The athletes participate in the official 10 weight categories in accordance with the AIBA technical and competition rules, with hopes of claiming ultimate glory, becoming a world champion. This is the 16th World Championships, with over 650 boxers from over 125 countries. This year's tournament has particular significance as the first major qualifying event for the London 2012 Olympic Games. And with that being said, we'd like to introduce you to the ring as the first boxer boxing in the red corner starts to make his way, as you can see there, followed by the boxer in the blue corner. The red corner, Berinchyk from Ukraine, 23 years old. And in the blue, you can see there the AIBA World Boxing Championships would not be complete without noting the stellar amateur records that each of these boxers have. Dennis Berinchyk, you can see there Renee Just will be the referee for this contest, and the judges, Martin Tadek, Nicholas Pachidas, Jones Kennedy, and more. 5 official judges at ringside, keeping a close watch on the action. Again, Dennis Berinchyk and Jonathan Alonso about to square off. Dennis Berinchyk, 2010 World University Championships, took first place, and the European Cup, also in Ukraine, first place. 2011 Ukrainian National Championships, he placed 7, and recently he took first place at the Makar Maze Memorial Tournament in Ukraine. Jonathan Alonso, as you can see there in the blue corner, winner, or third place rather, bronze medalist at the Spanish National Championships, also the 2010 Golden Gloves silver medalist, and last but not least, the Spanish National Championships gold medalist in 2011. So as the referee Renee Just is checking both boxers, has checked the blue corner, now the red corner, making sure the headgear is set. Wishing good luck to the corner. And we are getting ready to start the action. We will call both boxers to scratch. And let's get ready, folks, to start off this 16th World Championships in Baku 2011. Berinchyk in the red, Alonso in the blue. And Alonso comes out first, snapping that left-handed jab. And there's another 1-2 combination by Berinchyk, or rather by Alonso. Berinchyk doesn't get thrown off. There you see his first punches of the action. A left hook by Alonso. Turns Berinchyk, and now Berinchyk comes forward with a couple of jabs of his own. Alonso keeping his guard up high, and they start to slug it out here, and now Berinchyk starting to show some more offense. And on the break, Alonso with a left hook falls short. The Ukrainian boxer fighting in the typical Eastern European style. Hands up high, sturdy, stern, as he pushes back Alonso with a pulling jab, and now a right upstairs with a left hook to the body. Not much impact done to Alonso. However, Berinchyk is showing him he is here and ready. Each of these boxers have a lot on the line here in this tournament. There's a nice overhand right by Berinchyk, and a lazy right hand by Alonso to the body, falls short. Another one by Alonso. Berinchyk seeming to be the more disciplined boxer here. He's using his jab more and following it up with right hands. Decent combination. Both of these boxers boxing in the orthodox stance. That's with the left hand jab forward, left foot forward. Strong right hand there by Alonso, follows, and now a little flurry in the center of the ring. And Berinchyk continues to press the action. He's now got Alonso in the neutral corner, and Alonso adjusts his headgear. Here comes Berinchyk with a right hand and a left, and looping right hand falls over its mark, that being the head of Jonathan Alonso. And now the boxers clinch here in the neutral corner. Referee Rene Just going to give a slight caution to Berinchyk to not push on the clinch. And there's a left-right combination by Alonso, another 1-2, and a right hand to the belly by Alonso. And here comes Berinchyk. Crowd really starting to pick up the noise level here. Stadium is starting to fill up here as we've got a full day of boxing. This is the men's light welterweight division, 64 kilograms. Boxers box 3 3-minute rounds here. It's an elimination style tournament. Each of these boxers have competed to get their way here into the 16 round of 16 rather, and what they need is to get through this event, this bout this afternoon, to get themselves a spot in the Olympics in London. Very important. There's a lot on the line here as the boxers clinch, and Berinchyk now throws a right, and Alonso lifts his arms up in the air as if to say, ref, it's not me causing the clinch. And just the same, the boxers meet again in the center. Left-handed lunging jab step by Berinchyk, and here he comes forward again, left-right, pushing the action, pressing forward, and there's the bell, folks, for round number 1 in the books, and a late right hand by Alonso. Here a little bit in the crowd there, a little discontent with that, however, of no effect. And now both boxers will retreat to their corners where they will get advice and water. And look at a replay here. There's a left-right, a nice straight right hand by Berinchyk down the pipe, and Alonso doing a good job covering up. And there's a nice left uppercut followed by an overhand right, also by Berinchyk, trying to penetrate that guard of Alonso. And you see there the scores after round 1, 6-2. The Ukrainian is ahead. There's 1-minute intervals in between the rounds. That's the warning, the bell for the 10-second reminder. Seconds will make their way out of the ring, and action resumes here. Round number 2. Berinchyk from the Ukraine, Alonso from Spain. Nice left hand, a stiff jab. You know, that jab from Berinchyk is really starting to find its mark. It's the most effective weapon in a boxer's arsenal is his jab. A good jab is, some say, all you really need to get ahead. Of course, there's more, but without that jab, it makes a boxer's career quite a long one. It works as both an offensive weapon as well as a defensive weapon. It's a rangefinder, it's a space keeper. It sets up the action. It could blind your opponent by keeping it in his eyes, not seeing that right hand following. And now Berinchyk continues to press forward. For a moment he changed stance and switched into the southpaw style, but that was only for a moment. He's come back to the orthodox position, and here comes Alonso. An overhand right falls short. Alonso not really throwing too many combinations, not putting his punches together, and that's likely the reason why he's down on the scores, because without setting up your punches, you know, it's very important. You need to connect with the front of the glove, the knuckle part. It used to be the case in amateur boxing where that glove was actually distinguished by having a white region so that the judges could more accurately see the punch being a clean punch, therefore getting a score. While they've changed the glove design, or rather the coloring, they haven't changed the rule. You need to score straight on with the front part of the glove, connecting to the front of the body or sides of the body and head of your opponent in order to get that point. And now you see Berinchyk doing some good work up against the ropes. Throws a right to the body, and now there's a little clinch there, and that's probably going to get called for a caution at the very least. You can't hold and hit, and referee Rene Just is right on the scene. And here comes Berinchyk again, lunging forward with the jab. There's a nice left hook grinding to the body, and there's a nice baby left, a cute left uppercut, a left uppercut hook, as they say, a upper hook by Berinchyk, scores to the chin of Alonso, and now Alonso comes fighting back again. You know, you could see here that Alonso's throwing punches one at a time. He's mostly in the defensive stance, keeping his hands up, and that's testament to the great offensive technique by the Ukrainian. The Ukrainians really do a wonderful job teaching fundamentals to their amateurs, and it shows here in this opening bout of the World Championships. Cute right uppercut by Alonso, however, to no effect, partially blocked and with no real mustard on it. There's a right hand by Alonso, and Alonso is going to really need to pick up the pace here if he wants any chance of impressing the judges and making it into the next round. Overhand right by Berinchyk. Again, clearly the aggressor. There's 5 seconds left in this round. And as Berinchyk pushes Alonso off the break, the referee going to acknowledge that, separate the boxers, and here comes Alonso with a right hand and a left to the body by Berinchyk. And that'll end round 2, folks. We should get the score rather quickly, and we will see how the judges have it after just 2. Look at a replay here. You've got Berinchyk pushing his way forward, really having his way with Alonso, who's not doing much in the way of avoiding those punches, that barrage. He'd be well served, as you could see there, Alonso, to step to the side, to circle away from those punches by the Ukrainian. And you could see there he's getting some work done by his trainers, and there's the score after 2, 16-5. So the Ukrainian really starting to pull ahead. He was up 6-2 after the first, and boy, now he's up 16-5. So that's quite a margin to overcome. Very difficult to come back 11 points or over 11 points in the third and final round. So at this point, one would think that the Ukrainian could just continue on doing what he's doing, and he should be able to skate to an easy victory and earn himself a spot in the London Olympics next year. There's an interesting feint. As you can see now, the Ukrainian has again switched to that southpaw stance. He looks a little more unstable in that position, quite herky-jerky, and perhaps he'd be well served to not switch his style here in the third round, but just continue to do what he's doing. As the old cliche goes, don't fix it if it's not broken. That would be advice well heeded to by Berinchyk. And now he's back in the orthodox style. Left-handed jab. An overhand right by Alonso. And again, the Ukrainian just clearly the aggressor here. This is why he's up a host of points in the third round. And Alonso looking a little tired as well here. None of the boxers should have conditioning problems, not at this point. They're in their early 20s primarily. These two boxers are. Alonso only 21 years old. Should have enough steam, more steam than the Energizer Bunny to make it through this, and more rounds than 3. And here comes Berinchyk again pushing forward. Chopping right hands, like trying to chop down the tree that is the taller Jonathan Alonso. Berinchyk is able to duck that right hand by Alonso, and now Alonso going to complain of being hit behind the head. Referee Rene Just going to caution Berinchyk. A left hand by Alonso, and now Berinchyk turns, continues to pursue his man. There's a left hook by Alonso. Minute 12 seconds, as we could see there on the clock, remaining in this third and final round. Overhand right by Berinchyk. And Alonso again just covering up for much of the action here through 3 rounds. Hasn't really gotten off an offense the entire bout, and this will be something he could look to. Watch the replays, study this tape to try and better his positioning in the future in tournaments such as these and in bouts such as these. You need to be an active offensive boxer, especially in the amateurs, where the one-punch knockout is much more rare than you'd see in the professional ranks, and it usually does come down to outscoring your opponent. And you can only score when you land a clean punch, and you can only land a clean punch when you throw a punch. In this case, Alonso has barely thrown punches, and certainly not in bunches. And as a result, the score is what it is going into this third round. A straight right hand by Berinchyk. Ripping a left hook to the body is Berinchyk. It continues with a double and a triple jab right through the guard. That's a beautiful triple jab by Berinchyk through the guard of Alonso and taking the starch right out of his neck. And that's it, folks. Round number 3 in the books. This one should be an easy decision for the judges. The Ukrainian boxer Denis Berinchyk looks like he has just earned himself a spot in the 2012 Olympics. And as we await the decision, there it is. Denis Berinchyk, 27-10. You will see the score right there. The Ukrainian boxer brings home the first Olympic slot for the Ukrainian team in this tournament. And congratulations to Denis and Jonathan. We expect to see more of you in the near future. Great job to both boxers, but only one can continue. You could see the action there, a little replay from that third round, and well, Alonso gives it his all. His best isn't good enough, not today, as Denis Berinchyk, perhaps the more seasoned amateur boxer, a couple of years of age on the Ukrainian, and it showed there. I am Castle Chalice, providing you this commentary from Baku, Azerbaijan, here at the 16th AIBA World Championships. And as we now see the second bout of the morning session.
Judge number 3, France. Judge number 4, Ireland. Judge number 5, USA.
Gaybatulla Gadzhialieyev. You could see his pedigree. Quite an experienced amateur boxer. Out of the red corner, making his way now from Uzbekistan. Gerardo Poggi, we could see the referee from Argentina right there. Now making his way to the red corner is Sanjarbek Rahmonov from Uzbekistan, 22 years old. And Gaybatulla Aliyev from Azerbaijan. And now you see both boxers enter the ring. Sanjarbek Rahmonov from Uzbekistan. He's 172 centimeters tall. He's 22 years old. And as I say, quite an amateur pedigree. He was a participant in the 2009 AIBA World Championships back in Milan. While he placed 10th, it just goes to show that he's been to an event like this before on the world stage. And while boxers of all types and all walks of life should have jitters and nerves when they enter the ring, no matter what level of competition, it's only human emotion. I would imagine that Rahmonov, having been to this dance before, feels quite cool. He's the 2010 Asian Games bronze medalist, and as well as the bronze medalist in the 2011 Makar Mazei Memorial Tournament. Gaybatulla Gadzhialieyev from Azerbaijan, though, is no stranger to this level of competition. He was a 2007 AIBA Cadet World Champion, 2010 European Championships in Moscow. He was a participant there, and he took bronze at the European Championships in Ankara, Turkey this year. He's also a World Series of Boxing participant as well. AIBA's new professional league, semi-pro league as they say, and you could see action right out of the gate. Both of these boxers look like they're willing to trade and stand toe-to-toe. Rahmonov in the red corner, Gadzhialieyev in the blue corner. And Rahmonov with a nice tight guard, a strong stance, and a powerful jab. The Uzbeki boxer comes out punching, and right here out of Baku, Azerbaijan, Gadzhialieyev is going to certainly have the crowd support in his favor. There's a ripping left hook by Gadzhialieyev, and a nice right hand as well. Pushes the Uzbeki boxer back, and here comes Rahmonov with a left hook, and nice high, tight guard by Gadzhialieyev. Left right by Rahmonov. Gadzhialieyev with a quick left hook, followed by an answer. If that was a question by Gadzhialieyev, there was an answer by Rahmonov with another left hook right back at him. In-your-face style of boxing here. These two clearly are willing to stand in the center of the ring as they have been for pretty much the entirety of this round and just trade punches. Very exciting style. And there's a nice quick right hand that sneaks in by Gadzhialieyev. And there's a left hook that perhaps scored, at least on some of the judges that could have seen it. Another left hook. The Azerbaijani boxer clearly favoring that left hook as a way to sneak some scoring in over the high guard of the Uzbeki boxer. And now a nice jab straight down the middle also snaps back the head of Rahmonov. Good combination punching by both boxers. Double left hook by Gadzhialieyev. Chopping right hand by Gadzhialieyev. So these boxers are definitely going to give the fans, both here at the stadium as well as out there in TV land, an enjoyable performance. You also catch this action live on AIBA's YouTube channel. Left right by Rahmonov. Great defense by both boxers. You could see there that both of them are keeping a very high guard, fundamentally sound, elbows in, making it very difficult to penetrate. Imagine a warrior with a shield in front of him. That's very hard to penetrate the body, the corpus of the boxer. When you can't figure out a way to get through it, you've got to get around it somehow. You've got to figure out a way to get the opponent to drop his shield, to raise his shield, to move it from side to side. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to penetrate his body. And that's exactly what both of these boxers are doing with the high guard. And that's why it's made for a very competitive bout so far. And we're going to see a replay here as the Uzbeki boxer comes forward, but quickly answered with a right hand by Gadzhialieyev. There you see Gadzhialieyev pressing the action. Left hand by Gadzhialieyev, and clearly these boxers are hungry. Would be an understatement. They want to go represent their country in the Olympics in London, and there you see the Azerbaijani boxer with a score of 11-6 after round one. So clearly he has somewhat of a home court advantage, that's for sure. And he's got the crowd support and probably the familial support right here in the complex. And as we get ready for round number two, the referee going to send the Uzbeki boxer Rahmonov back to his corner, quite eager to start to mix up those fisticuffs. And there's a nice left-right hand out of the gate by Gadzhialieyev. Double jab followed by a right by the Uzbeki. Uzbeki boxer down a few points coming into this, and it's, again, very hard to come back when you're down because there's always that built-in inherent instinct by the winning boxer, or rather the boxer who's up on points, to try and stay away, if possible, and avoid giving up that oh-so-sacred lead. However, some boxers say, out the window with that sort of style, they're going to stand there toe-to-toe and slug it out, not get on the bicycle, and that looks like exactly what Gadzhialieyev is here to do. He's still throwing punches in bunches. A right hand scores by Gadzhialieyev. A chopping left hook by Rahmonov. And the boxers continue. Much of this action has been in a phone booth right in the center of the ring. Not too much circling, not too much retreating, primarily advancing, which is good. It's hard to score points while you're retreating. It's more of a defensive tactic, and both of these boxers have such a sound fundamental defensive style anyhow that they don't need to retreat. They could just keep their hands up, keep coming forward. Neither boxer is doing too much lateral movement. I'd like to see more of that from an amateur boxer, to circle to the left, to circle to the right, whatever deems appropriate at the moment, be based on what your opponent's style is and the types of punches he's throwing. In this case, both boxers in the conventional stance, you tend to want to circle to your left to avoid that big right hand of your opponent. Make him have to stretch across his body for that jab to be effective. There's a nice combination by Gadzhialieyev, and just under a minute here in round number 2. A right hand to the body by Rahmonov, and a nice answer, a right hand, a big overhand right by the Azerbaijani, saying, I'm here still, I'm right here, come and get it. Good retreat right there, defensive tactic by Rahmonov to avoid that 1-2 combination by Gadzhialieyev. And rights ripping to the body, although mostly blocked by the great high guard and defense, the elbows of Gadzhialieyev. And the Uzbeki boxer going to need to figure out another way, perhaps, to try and score points here. What he did in the first round didn't seem to be enough, according to the judges, and looks like much of the same here for round number 2. It's a pretty even matchup, so it would seem. Let's see how the judges have it in just a moment. After 2 rounds here in Baku, Azerbaijan, you're starting to hear the crowd really pick it up here at the Heydar Aliyev Sports Complex. Left hand, right hand, and there's a ripping left to the body. And you can see most of those punches by Rahmonov are being blocked by the high guard of Gadzhialieyev. And right there you can see the difference in contrast, where the right hand of Gadzhialieyev sneaks right through over the left hand. The problem with the Uzbeki boxer in this instance, Rahmonov, is that when he throws his left hand out, he's not getting it back quick enough. It's oh so important when you throw out the jab to retreat, bring it back just as quickly. And look at that. Gadzhialieyev up now 24-13. So again, just like in the first bout, he's pulled away to an 11-point lead going into the next round. As I was saying, when you throw your punches in all style of boxing, amateur, pro, it doesn't matter. You need to get your hand back as quickly as you throw it out. Some people think, oh, I'll throw out a punch fast and hard, and then I'll bring it back at my leisure. No, you got to bring it back as fast as you threw it out, because that's where the counter-punching of your opponent is going to be so effective. He's going to counter your punch and hit you before your hand's up to defend yourself. So in this instance, we saw here in the replay between rounds how Gadzhialieyev is doing a great job with that, whereas the Uzbeki boxer not quite getting his hands up quick enough, and as a result, Gadzhialieyev really winning the counter-punching match here in this 64-kilogram matchup. Now you see Rahmonov starting to circle to his right just a bit. Left-right combination by Gadzhialieyev, another one primarily blocked by the gloves and head. And now you start to see some of those punches really sneak through the guard of Rahmonov. Gadzhialieyev, clearly the more aggressive. I shouldn't say clearly, to be quite frank with you, it's not that Rahmonov's not being aggressive, it's just not as effective aggressiveness as we would like to see. Gadzhialieyev being more effectively aggressive by keeping his guard up high, getting his gloves back in front of his head. Now you see he complains of some sort of, that would be a strap. Looked like he may have been complaining of a headbutt, although there wasn't a headbutt evident. And now we see it's the strap, the chin strap. Goes to his corner, gets it fastened. And the referee is going to bring the boxers to scratch, and a wide left hook by the Azerbaijani boxer misses its mark by a few. Rahmonov just not showing enough urgency here. He's down way too many points in this final minute of action. to just be sort of breezing through here. He needs to start throwing punches and bunches, putting it all on the line. At this point, he's not going to win on points. He could only win with a knockdown, perhaps a stoppage, a knockout. And in order to do that, he's got to lay it all on the line. He's got to start throwing more punches, more than he's ever thrown. How bad does he want to get to the 2012 Olympic Games in London? Well, the answer is right here. This is how bad. This is the measure of a man in the final minute of the final round of the final, well, it won't be the final chance to be clear. There will be a continental qualifying event still where these boxers will get a chance to qualify. That'll happen in early 2012 for those that don't qualify here. However, you don't want to leave it to that. You never know what's going to happen. An injury could put them out. There could be a reshuffling of the rankings in their home country, as is the case in certain countries where they may not even get another shot. So while their countrymen or their team may get another shot at sending someone in this weight class to the Olympics, it may not be to Sanjarbek Rahmonov, which is why he needs to leave it all out here. And with just a second or two left here, it would seem that the result is fait accompli as Gadzhialieyev goes back to his corner and gives a double high five to his seconds, and you're going to really hear it from the crowd here once this decision is announced. As that would be the first entry, the first passage into the quarterfinals by one of their own in this tournament. The judge has both, the referee has both boxers in the center. There it is. The hand is raised for Gadzhialieyev. And you're really starting to hear it now as he circles the ring and congratulates everyone, shakes the hand of the judge. You could see the fans in attendance here really supporting their countrymen. You could look at some action here from the final round where Gadzhialieyev, knowing he's got his man beat here and continuing to stay busy.
The ball number 413 means large fight from 649 kilograms. Red corner, Daniyar, Spain, Uruguay, Alonso, Italy.
And we are going to take a brief moment here as there's going to be a slight adjustment to the ring apron, it would seem. We'll see in just a moment exactly what type of adjustment needs to be made. And we're told that perhaps it could be a tightening of the ropes that needs to take place here. This is ring B. You see the wide shot there. You've got ring A and ring B here. There's so many boxers, as we mentioned earlier in this competition. Over 650 originally from 125 countries. It could not have been accomplished in one ring alone. This boxing has been going on now for well over a week. Long sessions, morning, afternoon, and evening. Numerous hours of boxing to get to where we are today at the round of 16. And you can even see some of that action there on the screen there. That's the action taking place in the other ring right now between Italy and Spain. And again, we're just going to take a brief moment here to address perhaps a physical or technical issue with the ring here. Ring B, which is what you're watching here at the Heydar Aliyev Sports Complex.
Iran. Judge number 1, Canada. Judge number 2, Puerto Rico.
And now
Judge number 3,
that problem seems to have been solved as we see the boxer in the red corner from England. You see the flag right there of England, Queen Mother. And here he is, Thomas Stalker. Stalker, quite a decorated amateur boxer in his own right, has an interesting story. Came up the hard way on the streets of Liverpool. You could see his pedigree there, AIBA World Championships, European Championships. Thomas Stalker, 27 years old. Referee, James Beckles, perhaps a few years older than that. Not much. German, Pizarro, Butara, Puchidis, and Carrillo, the judges. All wise, sages as they are, being charged with the duty of making sure that all the points are properly calculated, that the punches are attributed properly to the boxer that throws them. And in this instance, Stalker now in the ring. He's going up against Alexander Solyanikov from Russia. Stalker, as we said, 27 years old, boxes out of both the St. Aloysius ABC Club and the Terry Willis Club. Solyanikov, 19 years old. He's the 2009 Russian national champ, gold medalist, 2010 European Championships in Moscow. He placed third. The Russian national championships in 2010 last year, he grabbed the gold again. And in 2011, the Russian national championships gold. So you're looking at a 3-time Russian national champion in Alexander Solyanikov. Stalker, on the other hand, the 2009 AIBA World Championships in Milan. He was a participant there. 2010 European Championships in Moscow. He grabbed a silver, and grabbed the gold in the 2010 Commonwealth Games. The 2011 European Championship silver medalist in Ankara, and he was awarded the Best British Boxer trophy in 2010. Well, there you have it. Stalker in the red corner, Solyanikov in the blue. Stalker, the taller boxer, ripping a left to the body. Both boxers, again, boxing in the orthodox style. You could see Stalker clearly the taller, leaner boxer. Reminds you of an old Tommy Hearns in there with his long and rangy arms. Solyanikov coming forward, and now Stalker would be well served, as taller boxers generally are, to keep his distance, to use that jab to keep his boxer off of him and to set up the big right hand. Want to keep that distance with that jab, while Solyanikov's challenge through this bout will be to get inside and to be able to land those shots to the body and the face of Thomas Stalker. The Russian clearly not shy. He's quite the aggressor here, pressing the action, but Stalker, no stranger to high-level competition himself, clearly has a plan for that aggression. And now Stalker has switched to the southpaw style. Throws out the right-handed jab. Solyanikov circles to his left, which is the right direction, the correct direction to go when your opponent is boxing in the southpaw style. It could actually depend, of course, whether the boxer is switching, as it seems like Stalker's doing, or keeping that stance. That sort of challenge of deciding which way to circle could change as the bout progresses, and you get a feel for your opponent's style. In this case, those little baby hooks by Stalker in the southpaw stance aren't going to do much to dissuade Solyanikov from coming forward. And now the referee is going to issue an easy caution to the boxers, and action resumes here in the center of the ring. And now Solyanikov has Stalker up against the ropes, and Stalker starts to fire away and advance. Stalker with a left and a right hook, and Solyanikov comes forward with a lead right hand, and now he's bullying Stalker up against the ropes. The referee going to issue a caution to Solyanikov about using his shoulder up there against the ropes. It's an effective tactic when you can get away with it. And in this instance, the referee caught it, and we'll try and monitor that, I'm sure, throughout the remainder of this bout. Now Stalker gets some instructions in between rounds from his corner. You can see there the replay in the action of round number 1 as Solyanikov pushes Stalker into the corner, and Stalker does a decent job of covering up. Stalker and Solyanikov, and look at that, 3-3 after round 1. Low scoring, but very effective. Both boxers are. This could be a very close one as the bout progresses. I am Castle Chalice calling your action from ringside here in Baku, Azerbaijan. This is the 16th World Championships for AIBA. Solyanikov from Russia, Stalker from England. This is a 64-kilogram matchup, a round of 16. The winner here earns himself a spot in the 2012 London Olympics. A right hand to the body by Solyanikov, and they sort of lock horns in the center of the ring. And as Stalker circles to the left, Solyanikov follows him. A homing device. Zeroing in with laser-like accuracy. Solyanikov attempts to penetrate that fairly effective defense by Stalker. Doesn't seem to have the fundamentally appropriate style. However, the definition of appropriate clearly changes from boxer to boxer, and what works for some doesn't necessarily work for other. There are no steadfast rules in this sport except for one, and that is hard work is the only way to achieve success in this sport. Nothing comes easy in the sport of boxing. Even those gifted with natural abilities and size and speed, it's not a ticket. It is not a ticket to success in this sport. Only hard work, and hard work will get you to the top. And now, Solyanikov continuing to progress and push the action. Stalker should be probably using that jab a little more effectively. Again, not only as an offensive weapon, but also as a defensive weapon. Solyanikov pushes him down. Stalker, unfortunately, is giving away much of his height advantage by, I don't want to say choosing to trade toe-to-toe with the Russian, because it doesn't seem like that's really his choice. It seems like it's just the way it's happening. The Russian's pushing forward and Stalker not keeping him off with the jab, not circling away. There's a nice fast left hand by Stalker. Looks like it got through the guard. Be nice to see a little more aggression, a little more activity by Stalker here. While the Russian boxer seems to be more active, Stalker seems to be thinking his way through, and while that may be good for the first round, we're almost at the end of round 2, and the time for thinking, while not having expired, because that should never happen in the ring, perhaps it needs to be supplanted with a little more activity in addition. And now they tie up in the corner, and here comes the Russian boxer, punching off the break, and here comes Stalker with his own. Right hand falls short. And those hooks that Stalker's throwing from a distance are just, they're not going to work for him, not here, not ever. Hook needs to be thrown from the inside. It's a close-ranged punch. You can't land the hook from outside. I mean, it can be done, but it's not recommended. You leave yourself wide open for a big counter punch by your opponent once he starts to sense that's where you're throwing it from. And you could see that short, straight punch by Solyanikov is going to always beat the long, looping punch by Stalker. if they're thrown at the same time. The Russian getting some advice from his corner. And there you see the score, Stalker 6-4. So perhaps the judges are seeing something that can't be seen here from ringside, but the English boxer has taken a 2-point lead. Certainly not saying he hasn't earned it, just didn't see those punches land the way the judges had. The judges very effective, very accurate. They're right up there at the ring. There's 5 judges, that's 10 eyeballs watching every punch thrown. And now it's going to be up to the Russian to come back from a 2-point deficit here in this final round. Try and earn himself a spot in London. Stalker now would be well served to not do the stalking, ironically, but to perhaps stay away from the action. And that's not to say to get on his bike, but if the Russian boxer needs to come back on points, well, Stalker needs to figure out a way to not let that happen. One way is to stand there toe-to-toe and avoid punches, although that's not necessarily the most advisable way. The other is to use that jab and keep him off. Stalker needs to use that jab more than ever now. With 2 minutes left in this round, he was up by 2 going into it. Keep the Russian off you. Use your jab, use your feet. It's another thing that's quite effective. The defensive measure is the feet. You can use them instead of your hands if you want. There's been many boxers who've made a career out of avoiding punches with their feet and their body. And Stalker could take a page out of those books right now. He's on his toes, but he's not really circling away. He's more just waiting for an opportunity to counterpunch, it seems. Tough for a long-armed boxer like that to be an effective counterpuncher, especially when Solyanikov is doing such a good job of staying inside. And that's because he won't be able to get full extension on his punches, Stalker won't, from the inside. He needs to stay outside to really get the effective counterpunching going. The Russian, with the shorter arms, is going to certainly be quicker to connect from inside. Punches are traveling at a shorter distance, at full extension, that is. And now an overhand right by Solyanikov, and Stalker starts to continue. He moves forward and then retreats back to his position as a defensive stylist. Uppercuts and chopping right by Stalker now with 40 seconds left to go in this third round, and now Stalker going to let his hands go a little bit more. A nice left hand by Stalker snaps back the head of Solyanikov, and perhaps Stalker has a game plan here. Be interesting to see how the judges have this. The third round has been back and forth. Referee is going to issue a caution. Both boxers going to meet in the center of the ring, and here comes Solyanikov. A left hand by Solyanikov. And now he pushes Stalker up against the ropes. Again, the referee's going to issue a caution to Solyanikov, this time for using his head as he heads Stalker up against the ropes. A left hand by the Russian to the body, and now Stalker doing a little dancing there. There's less than 10 seconds left. Perhaps he's feeling confident here as this round comes to a close. 1 second, and that is it, folks. The bout has concluded. England versus Russia for the 64-kilogram opportunity to make it to the Olympics on behalf of their country. And this could be close. Remember, Stalker went into this round with a 2-point advantage. Did he do enough to maintain that? We will find out in just a moment here in Baku, Azerbaijan. Referee going to check the gloves, or rather the wraps, of both boxers. And anxious moments for these youngsters. They've been training hard. It was not an easy road to get here. Each wants their road to continue, and it goes to Thomas Stalker, 17-9. So Stalker really pulled away in that final round and did plenty to impress the judges. And Thomas Stalker, with an interesting style that worked for him, and he comes in to this tournament an interesting and favored boxer, and he will now proceed to the next round, the quarterfinals, and in addition to that, he will earn himself a spot on the London roster.
Judge number 5, Dominica Republic.
So there you have it, folks. Another bout in the books. All of these bouts are being contested in the 64-kilogram weight class for now. That will change in a short while. We'll move to the men's light heavyweight, the 81-kilogram weight class. But now we see Qing from China, 25 years old, making his way to the ring. His opponent will be from India, Manoj Kumar, also 25 years old. AIBA World Championships, European Championships, Commonwealth Games. Both of these boxers, decorated amateur careers. Mariusz Gorny from Poland will be the third man in the ring for this bout. Jumanazov, Malshiev, Tadek, Kennedy, and Martinez, the judges representing the globe, as are the boxers and the organization of AIBA, the Amateur International Boxing Organization, in conjunction with the Azerbaijani Boxing Federation, doing a wonderful job in this tournament. This is not an easy tournament to put together, folks. Lots of boxers, as we've said, over 650 from over 125 countries, brought together over the course of 2 weeks for a tremendous tournament at the world-class level. And kudos go out to all those involved in making this tournament go off without a hitch, as it has so far, and expected to continue that way straight through to the finals in just a few nights. The referee is going to check the gloves of both boxers. Qing from China, 2007 AIBA World Championships in Chicago. He was an Olympian in 2008 in Beijing. Came in 6th place. He lost to Dao Dasau from France. He won the AIBA World Cup silver in 08. 2010 Asian Games silver, and the 2011 Asian Championships just earlier this year in Incheon, Korea, he took 7th place. Kumar, also no stranger to international competition. He was in Milan in 2009. He lost to Mike Carvalho from Brazil. He's also the 2010 bronze medalist at the Indian National Championships, the 2010 gold medalist at the Commonwealth Games in New Delhi. So, as we see the action here, both boxers game and ready. Qing in the red corner, Kumar in the blue corner. Kumar pushing forward. Qing 171 centimeters has a little advantage over Kumar at 164 centimeters. You can see that height advantage in the ring as Kumar lunges forward, gets Qing up on the ropes, looks to the referee, and now Kumar has him turned. And there's a lot of clinching going on here. A little wrestling, some shoving, and there's a nice right-left combination. Qing boxing in the southpaw stance. Kumar in the orthodox style throws a looping right hand, does Kumar. Misses by a mile. And again, they lock up. Seems like these styles are going to call for a number of clinches and breaks here, as you could see the height advantage. And sometimes that happens, folks, when two styles, you know, they say in boxing styles make fights. Well, that's sure enough. But it doesn't always make for an interesting fight or an exciting fight or a clean fight. Sometimes it makes for a bout with more clinching and more breaks, and you see that happening right here. Much of this first round has been in the clinch. And that doesn't mean it can't be an exciting fight in the clinch. As you can see here, another result of the two styles clashing. Contrasting styles, to say the least. And now you see Qing a little slicker as he tries to evade some of those wild punches by Kumar. But again, they lock up. Qing would be well served to use his jab and to keep Kumar off him. You know, Kumar's probably going to grab an advantage, or at least have an opportunity to grab an advantage in the clinch, because he's the shorter boxer with the shorter arms. He'll be able to use that to his advantage by throwing punches both in the clinch and coming out of the clinch, if he could get away with it. King, on the other hand, is going to have a tough time being effective in the clinch because those long arms are just going to really take away his advantage of extending his punches and catching his opponent at that full extension point. The referee is going to issue another caution. A looping lead right hook by King. And now a wide left hook by Kumar, which misses its mark. And Kumar is following King around the ring. That clearly seems to be the theme for this bout. Kumar pressing the action, King trying to circle away. And that's the end of round one here in Baku, Azerbaijan. 16th AIBA World Championships. Look at a replay from round one as Kumar pushes forward and King tries to avoid that bull rush. And there's a little rough housing in the center of the ring as Kumar throws King down to the canvas. Kumar getting some advice from his corner, as is King, and you can see the score 6-3. King takes the lead. The Chinese boxer over the Indian boxer by 3 points. Both of these gentlemen are 25 years old. And as the referee is going to check with the judges on all sides, he's going to actually have Kumar's corner remove some of the Vaseline, most likely, that was applied. It is legal to put Vaseline on the nose or the brow, the forehead of the boxer to keep some sweat away, to help minimize the abrasion of the leather and the punches that land, but not too much. And the referee in that instance had Kumar's corner remove some. And again, they lock up here. King wise to throw a punch off the clinch. If Kumar's strategy is to keep crowding him, and if King is unable to avoid that, then why not throw punches if the ref will allow it in the clinch? Again, some rough housing sends King to the ring, to the apron rather. A wide left hook by Kumar falls short, and there's a sneaky left hand to the body by King. And now you're seeing some good footwork by King. He's really starting to step up his footwork, which is nice. The Chinese boxers are well coached, as are most of the boxers, if not all of them. The Chinese team has a long reputation of really being stylists, both defensive and offensive in the ring. You can see some of that coming out now, a little confidence by King here in round number 2. And there's a lunging right hand by Kumar. Kumar looking like he's getting a little frustrated, can't quite figure out a way to get inside those long arms. He's getting inside, but not effectively. He's not putting himself in a position to throw and land clean punches, and if he is, he's not throwing and landing them. There are a number of ways to box in and out of that clinch, and while Kumar is doing a good enough job getting in close, he's not really doing much when he gets there. Instead, he's just tying up King, which isn't scoring him any points. And in this instance, looks like the referee is going to issue a warning to King, which is going to result in 2 points to Kumar at the end of the round. And that's not good for King because he was only up about 3, as we said. I believe it was 3 going into this round. Yep, it was a 6-3 round going in. He just gave 2 of those points back to Kumar. So now, King going to need to be on his best behavior and not give up any more of those points, those well-earned points, those well-needed points. We've seen bouts in this tournament already where a boxer who was otherwise winning by 1 gets a warning, gives 2 to his opponent in the final round, and ends up losing the bout by 1, with those 2 points being both illustrative and painful. In that instance, the cause of the defeat. Let's hope that that doesn't happen to King here. And now, left hand by King. Chopping left hook by Kumar, and King continues to retreat as Kumar continues to press the action. Right hand by Kumar. And now, once again, for the 3rd time in this bout, King hits the canvas as a result of a either push or a wrestling type tactic by Kumar. Long right hook by King. And here comes Kumar again, pressing the action, a right hand to the body, and is wise to lean back and avoid what may have been coming his way by way of counterpunching Qing. See how with Qing being so close, his punches are actually sailing over and almost falling behind the head of Kumar, and that's because he's just too close. He cannot be effective, or at least score effectively, when he's in so close. I mean, he can, but it's not going to be easy. That's the hard way to do it. He's better off using that long jab and boxing on the outside and not letting Kumar continue to bull rush him as he's done throughout much of this bout. And look at that, 7-7. So Manoj Kumar likely would have been losing that one 7-5, which would have been a surefire way for Qing to hold on to that strong lead he had going into round 2. However, due to that warning, he gave 2 up, and it's a tie score in round 2, keeping this a tight bout. It's now 13-10, Qing over Kumar. And Kumar is going to need to figure out a way to get those 3 points plus in this final round. Nice quick footwork by Qing, and again down goes Qing. Results of some perhaps roughhousing, although in that instance it didn't look like Kumar had much to do. Perhaps he was leaning down on Qing, and Qing chose to take sanctuary on a knee. And there's a left hand by Kumar as he finds a way in, and that one may have scored with the judges, and the referee going to issue a caution to Qing, and here comes Kumar again on the aggressive. Qing looks like Kumar looks like his confidence is starting to build a little here. Perhaps that high score in round 2 gave him the confidence that he was still in this bout, and it was his for the taking. And it is his for the taking if he could figure out a way to take it. So far, Qing has been able to keep those bull rushes at bay, minimize the bull rushes by Kumar through effective footwork and effective clinch work, as you could see there. See how Qing does a decent job of punching off the clinch, but then again, down goes Qing. This is becoming a recurring theme throughout this bout, and another warning, it seems. So this could end up being the death bell for Hu Qing as this bout is concerned, as he continues to give up 2 points to his opponent. That would conceivably make it a 1-point bout had there been no other points scored going into this third round, the first half of it. And of the utmost importance for Qing to avoid that from happening again, or he could find himself in a quite precarious predicament, losing this bout due to warnings. The referee going to issue a caution there to Qing to not turn his back to his opponent. And now Qing is going to raise his hand, and looks like he's going to ask for some relief by the referee, in that instance to lift up his trunks, which he did so dutifully. And there's a left hand by Qing. Now he's going to try and perhaps stay away and push his weight onto Kumar. And now the referee is going to send Kumar to his neutral corner. Is he going to give another warning? He is. Another warning. So the referee is not standing for any of this clinching tactic that Qing has been employing, if you could call it employment by will. Perhaps it looks more like an indentured servitude, as it's seemingly Kumar, the shorter boxer, that's creating the clinching. However, a big left hand by Kumar. And now the Chinese boxer starts to retreat a little bit. And they lock horns again here, and the referee, now Qing has to be very careful. Clearly he's got an intolerant referee that doesn't want to see any of this clinching and pushing in the clinch and pushing on the break. And he's already lost a number of points, or rather given up points to his opponent. He cannot afford to give up any more. He needs to stay away from the bull rush. He needs to use that jab effectively. He needs to rack up a few more points in the waning moments of this round if Qing wants to get a shot at the 2012 Olympics in London vis-a-vis this tournament, the 16th World Championships of AIBA. And down goes Qing once again. Could start to count the amount of times he's gone down now on two hands. All from the result of roughhousing and clinches, none from the result of clean punching. And you see Kumar seems quite excited here, feels he may have done enough to come away with the victory, and it should be very close, particularly because of the warnings. Again, it was a close round after two close rounds by points in 1 and 2. We shall see right now which of these youngsters will move on to the next round of this tournament. So the referee has both boxers. Only one's arm will get lifted. Kumar congratulating himself in advance of the decision. He thinks he's got it. He's got the smile on his face. And he gets it, the winner by 2 points. So there you have it, a perfect example of how a boxer could lose on warnings. He had multiple warnings in this bout, and Kumar seems to have escaped a narrow potential defeat on the points. However, he comes away with that one, and he earns himself a spot in the 2012 Olympics. Congratulations to Manoj Kumar, and Hugh Qing has probably learned a valuable lesson on what to do and what not to do as he continues on in his amateur career. Our next bout will see continued action in the 64-kilogram weight class. Those boxers will make their way to the ring in just a moment. This is Castle Chalice pulling your action from ringside. And you see in the red corner from Hungary, Gyula Kate, 29 years old, making his way, followed by his opponent, Daniyar Yeleussinov from Kazakhstan in the blue corner. Only 20 years old, so he's giving up almost a decade of age. Therefore, perhaps a decade of experience. Mohamed Brahm, the referee from Tunisia. And Gyula Kate. Well, let's take a quick look. Asanu, Puchulis, Carrillo, Pizarro, and German are the judges around the ring for this action. And Gyula Kate boxes for Kispest Boxing Club in Hungary. His coach there is Imre Azanto. He resides in Budapest. He likes snowboarding and fishing, and he has been boxing for 15 years, since 1996. He's got lots of amateur experience at this level. He was at the 2007 World Championships in Chicago, where he placed 10. Again in 2009, he was at the AIBA World Championships in Milan, where he grabbed the bronze after losing to Frankie Gomez of the U.S. in a close semifinal bout by 1 point, 8-7. More recently, he was the 2010 Hungarian national champion, grabbing gold with a victory over Gyuri Varju from Hungary with a RSC. That would be equivalent to a TKO, a technical knockout. The referee stopped that contest in the second round, and he placed 7 at the European Championships in this year. Yeleussinov, on the other hand, also with plenty of amateur experience. He was the 2007 AIBA Cadet bronze medalist. He got the silver in the 2008 AIBA World Championships. He grabbed gold last year in the Felix Stam tournament in Warsaw, Poland, and also gold at the Asian Games in China this year. Last year, he won against Santos Kumar of India 16-1. And this year, 2011, he took the Kazakh National Championship gold, as well as gold in the China Open tournament and bronze in the Makar Mazai Memorial Tournament in the Ukraine. So both of these boxers quite decorated. Kate in the red corner, Yeleussinov in the blue corner. And Yeleussinov fires off. You could see Yeleussinov boxing in the southpaw style, and Kate quite aggressive here in the orthodox style in the opening moments of round number 1. Kate looking like the slightly taller boxer, although for the most part they seem to be evenly matched from a physical standpoint. Kate keeping his hands low, it's one thing we noticed right away there, and while he keeps them higher in the closer quarters, which is smart, he's keeping them fairly low at distance, which isn't really the best style, and it's hard to get hit from that far. It's just not a good place to throw your punches from if necessary. You want to keep those hands up high, not only for defensive purposes, but also because you could throw a cleaner, faster, straighter punch when your hands are up high than you can when they're down low. Why? Because there's naturally more distance to travel from down at your hips than up at your head. And Yeleussinov moving forward. The Kazakhstanis come from a very proud tradition of boxing. They hosted the Junior World Championships in Astana earlier this year, and they always come correct. They've got the World Series of Boxing team, the Astana Arlans. Who themselves have a number of world titleists. And here comes Kate with a little bobbing and weaving style a la Joe Frazier. Smoking Joe, and the referee's going to issue a caution, and Yeleussinov is going to continue to press the action. And here comes Kate, a nice advancing style, and he's really starting to let his hands go now. He's ripping shots around the face and body, and Yeleussinov, not intimidated one bit, continues to stand there and even push the action a little bit as the final moments of round 1 tick away. And that's it, folks. Round number 1 is in the books. You see the Hungarian boxer getting some advice from his corner, and we look back at some action from round number 1 where the Hungarian does a decent job advancing, throwing punches while he moves forward. Again, we are in the Heydar Aliyev Sports Complex in Baku, Azerbaijan for the 16th World Championships of AIBA. Those boxers that advance past this round will earn themselves a spot in the 2012 London Olympic Games, representing their country proudly and hoping to see their flag raised high, higher than all the others, during the medal ceremony. Kate from Hungary, Yeleussinov from Kazakhstan. A very close first round with Kate taking it by 1 at a score of 4-3. And now the Kazaki boxer will see the urgency of his mission as he needs to press the action. He needs to figure out a way to reverse what's happened in round number 1, where he came out of there down a point. He needs to double up his productivity, it would seem. While he seems to have a good style and a fundamentally sound style, he doesn't seem to be throwing that many punches. Looks like he's waiting for some counter-punching opportunities while Kate seems to be pressing the action. And now the referee is going to issue a caution to Kate about pushing, and Kate looking to figure out a way. He's clearly anxious to get inside. He's anxious to trade punches. He's looking to score and score big, and he's looking for a way to best do that. You could see he's been the aggressor for most of the bout. And Yeleussinov standing there willing to trade, but just not letting his hands go enough. We'd like to see more combination punches by Yeleussinov, more body work, more footwork, start to show more angles. There's no reason why Yeleussinov can't start to put some punches together using the angles. After all, this is the sweet science, and science is nothing, geometry is nothing without angles. There's various places you could throw a punch from, and Yeleussinov seems well suited to take advantage of those because he's got a hungry boxer in the Hungarian, Gyula, hungry to move forward and to trade with him, and that would seem to present plenty of opportunity for Yeleussinov to try and pick him off, use counterpunching and use angles to score points when Kate least expects it. Instead, Yeleussinov seems to be willing to stand there and retreat when necessary, advance when necessary, throw punches when necessary. But we need more punching from him than just when necessary. He needs to throw them when they're not necessary. He needs to overthrow them. He needs to throw combinations. He needs to throw multiple punches. He needs to double and triple up that jab and throw body shots if he can. Perhaps some left hooks to the body, some right hands to the chest. He's just not being active enough here, which is troubling given the fact that the urgency. He was down by 1 in the first. It is a tremendous, tremendous event here, the World Championships. Both boxers go to their corner. We're going to see what happened there, how the judges had it after 2. My senses say that the Hungarian boxer may have done enough in round 2 to eke out a slight advantage as well. And we should be getting the score in just a moment. Again, the Hungarian had 1 point going up into the first. And it looks like the scores have come in. And there they are, 6-4 in round number 2. So Gyula comes up with a 10-7 advantage going into the third and final round. And he's now got a 3-point lead. And while his style has been aggressive throughout, let's see if he maintains that style or if he tries to just hold on to that victory. Clearly, the importance of overactivity by the Kazaki boxer could not be stressed enough here in round number 3. And the Hungarian continues to press the action. You start to hear those in the crowd cheering on the Kazakhstani boxer. Neighboring country, or a close neighbor, is Kazakhstan, and there's the Kazaki boxer looking to finally get inside. You know, he's not going to be able to throw those punches from the outside, or rather land them cleanly. He needs to get inside. He cannot score effectively staying on the outside of the long arms of Gyula. Footwork would be the best avenue for Yeleussinov to do this right now. If he could start to be more active with his hands and use his feet and bob and weave and get inside the long arms of Gyula, he may just be effective enough to score some points. He'd be well served to go to the body. Drop those long arms of Kate and then come back upstairs. He's got to be willing to take some punishment to do that, but this is the sport of boxing. It's the hurt business, folks. And you've got to take some to give some. And in this case, Yeleussinov has no choice but to enter the danger zone, the long windmill-like arms of Gyula if he's going to come back from a 3-point deficit and pull away a victory here. Again, everything should be out on the line. There is no reason whatsoever for Yeleussinov to be pulling any punches here. Nice left-right lead. You saw how Yeleussinov used his feet there, coupled with his hands to get inside. And while he may not have scored, it was the right thing to do, and it's what we need to see more of. There's just over a minute left, and the Kazakhstani boxer is going to need to stay active and stay on the chest. He should be on the chest of the Hungarian boxer right now, letting his punches fly from both hands with reckless abandon. And again, the chants Kazakhstan start to pour out from the crowd. And the Hungarian now, well, why not? If he's willing to stand there and wait for Yeleussinov to bring it to him, it's a smart tactic. He doesn't need to be the aggressor. He's up by 3 going into this round. Smart defensive style would be order of business for Hungarian boxer Gyula Kate here with just under 30 seconds to go in this bout. And here comes Yeleussinov again, pressing the action. And that's it. That is in the books. Hungary and Kazakhstan, who will be sending the 64-kilogram boxer to the next round, who will be sending one to the London Olympics. We are about to find out here in the Heydar Aliyev Sports Complex in Baku, Azerbaijan. Both boxers showing the utmost respect, congratulating each other. It's amazing to see the sportsmanship that these youngsters bring with them. They've learned it from their first day when they entered a boxing club, and no other sport that I've seen has raised such fine, respectful youngsters, respectful to their opponents, respectful to their elders, respectful to the officials, as has this great sport of boxing. And the winner is Gyula Kate, 17-11. He grabs the victory, snatches it from the hands of the Kazakhstani boxer, and you could see the look of joy on the face of his coach as he will move on to the next round, the semifinals, tomorrow. Look at some action there from the last round, and you can see how and why the Hungarian came away with the victory.
Judge number 1, USA. Judge number 2, Croatia.
Congratulations to Gyula Kate.
Algeria. Judge number 5, Turkmenistan. Boot number 428.
We'll just be a moment here as we get ready to announce the boxers for the next bout, and here it is from Sweden, Anthony Yigit. You could see his world rankings, or rather his amateur pedigree, his worldwide competition. Most recently took silver in the 2011 Swedish National Championships, and Everton dos Santos from Brazil now making his way to the blue corner. Anthony Yigit only 20 years old, Everton Lopez 23. Referee Bahodir Jumanyazov from Uzbekistan. And the judges Larado, Tadek, Wang, Yakub, and Meretsnayazov. So Yigit, again, he was 7th place in the European Championships in Ankara, Turkey earlier this year. He was a silver Swedish national medalist. 2010, he boxed in the European Championships and grabbed 7th place, and 1st place in the Swedish National Championships in 2010 and in 2009. So you're looking at a two-time Swedish national champ, gold medalist, 1-time silver medalist. Clearly no stranger to national level competition. And even Everton Lopez, while he was born in Salvador, now boxes out of Brazil. He, in 2008, was an Olympian. He lost in Beijing the 60-kilogram weight class to Azalbek Talasbayev, 9-7 in the preliminary round. He was at the World Championships last in 2009 in Milan, where he placed 7th with a loss to Albert Selimov of Russia with a 17-2 score. That was in the quarterfinals. Although he had grabbed a victory over Thomas Stalker, who we saw earlier this afternoon in a preliminary bout of note. And last if not least, he is a member of the World Series of Boxing, which is AIBA's newest league. It's a semi-pro league. He was a semifinalist in the first round. He lost to Ashkalev in 2011, the semifinals. So, and of course, a World Military game under his belt as well does Lopez have. Grabbed the gold in 2011 down in Rio de Janeiro. So, both boxers decorated. Yigit in the red corner, Lopez in the blue corner. Lopez has got the height advantage. Seems to have more international experience. He's been to this dance before, that being the World Championships in Milan. He's been to the Olympics. There's not a bigger stage in boxing, the amateur level, than that. Calm, cool, and collected is Everton Lopez. However, it's Yigit, the Swedish boxer, who seems to be pressing the action here. Perhaps he wants to show early on that he's not going to be intimidated by this highly decorated Brazilian boxer. The Brazilian keeping his arms low at a distance and shaking them about as he gets a little closer. The Swedish boxer circling to his right. The Brazilian boxing in the southpaw style. The Swedish boxer in the orthodox style. And now, Swedish boxer looks like he's switching early on. He's also throwing that right-hand jab out of the southpaw style. So perhaps they will both box in that stance for the remainder of the bout. Always interesting to see two southpaws mix it up. Oftentimes you get the tying up of their feet. It's just the nature of two southpaws going at it. Let's see if that happens here. So far it's been a fairly clean bout. Right hand downstairs and back upstairs by Yigit. And now Yigit comes forward, aggressor. Lopez pushes him off at the break. And now here comes a left hand by Yigit. And nice, quick, fast hands by Lopez. You could really see that, or you could barely see it as he lets his hands go. They really came out of nowhere, and you just got a glimpse of the speed that Lopez has. Now the referee's going to issue a caution to Yigit from hitting on the hip, and Lopez is going to start to press the action. It would seem there's 20 seconds left in round number one. Lopez throws out a jab, throws out another jab. However, neither boxer are really throwing many combinations, and therefore it seems to be a one punch at a time sort of slugfest here through round one. 5 seconds left in the round. Left and a right by Yigit, blocked. And Everton Lopez, you know, you see there, as he's been called in the ring, De Los Santos. There's a number of names that Lopez has, all the same name but various portions. There's the first name, there's the second name, there's the third and the last. We're referring to him as Everton Lopez, also known as Everton Lopez dos Santos. You can see both boxers getting instruction in their corners. And the score after round one has the Brazilian up by 3, 7-4. So the Brazilian boxer showed enough to the judges here in round number one to come out with a 3-point lead, and let's see if he could maintain that or even increase it here in round two. Yigit now, perhaps sensing a little urgency, knowing that he's down by 3, is going to start to press the action. And look at that hand speed by Lopez. It's really impressive. He's not using it enough. I tell you, speed kills every time in this squared circle. And if you've got the hand speed like Lopez, you should be using it all the time. Lopez really not throwing enough punches, I would think, to take him to the promised land in this tournament. He may be keeping some in reserve. Maybe we're going to start to see some more of that now in round number two. But he's going to want to really start to throw more punches like that, I would think, if he progresses into the next round, the semifinals, which will be tomorrow. And you could see those punches really starting to find their mark now. Everton, Dos Santos, Lopez. And Yigit now starting to plot away. Does a good job ducking. Yigit is pushed off by Lopez. Be nice to see Yigit start to throw some punches to the body, you know, because of Lopez's amateur pedigree and his seemingly high confidence level. He's not keeping the most fundamental of stances. He's not keeping his hands too high, and as a result, they're sort of out there. And when they're out there not protecting his body and his face, it leaves opportunity for an effective boxer to start to land some punches to the body and the torso. And Yigit would be well served if he could figure out a way again to use his feet to get inside, to corner, to trap Lopez, because if he continues to let Lopez box at Lopez's pace, he will not be able to win this bout. Lopez is quite the ring general, and he knows what he's doing in there. He's punching when he wants to, and he's avoiding punches when he wants to. And Yigit cannot let him continue to fight that type of fight. He needs to press the action, he needs to get inside, and he needs to land punches and stay on the chest of Lopez. Lopez is a keen, smart defensive fighter, though, and you can see how he does it really good with spatial awareness. When he's inside, he's got his hands up, and when he needs a breather, he stays outside and he could drop his hands. Rarely does he give Yigit any clean opportunity to score. Even here on the clinch, he grabs himself a little breather. 20 seconds left in round number 2. Referee going to issue a caution to Yigit. And Yigit trying to rip some shots here in the clinch, but no real effect. And now Santos starts to let his hands go. As round number 2 comes to a close, we're going to see how that score changes for both boxers in just a moment. The Swedish boxer is youngster. He's only 20 years old. You could see here in the replay from the last round how he's trying to throw with both hands, which is good. They're not really landing effectively, but at least he's getting them out there. There's a left hand that sort of bounced off the shoulder. You know, Lopez does a really good job, a la Floyd Mayweather and James Toney of earlier years, to sort of deflect those punches by using his shoulder and getting his chin tucked behind that shoulder to sort of avoid any harm and hopefully avoid some points being racked up as well for their opponent. And you saw that there on the replay, how Yigit's punches, when they were able to sort of find their way, would be deflected for the most part by the shoulder of Lopez. And now you see the score again, 7-4, mimics the first round, giving a decent advantage of 14-8 to the Brazilian boxer as we enter this third round. I'm Castle Chalice calling your action here at the Heydar Aliyev Sports Complex in Baku, Azerbaijan. This is the 16th World Championships. Over 650 boxers in this tournament from over 125 countries. And here the referee is going to issue a caution to Yigit. You cannot turn your back to your opponent at any time during the boxing match. And now Lopez starting to let his hands fly again. You know, for someone with such hand speed, he's not throwing straight punches, which he'd be much better served to do. If you think his hands are fast now, watching them on the screen, keep in mind that they're not even coming straight. They're looping and coming from outside of the wheelhouse. And as a result, they're even taking longer to find their mark when they find it. If he would have used those long, fast arms of his to throw straight down the pike, I assure you that Yigit would be having even a much more difficult time than he's already having. And now Yigit continues to look for an answer in the seemingly big book of questions that is Everton Lopez. Lopez pretty much throwing the encyclopedia of boxing at Yigit with fancy footwork, with defensive stylism, and with wonderful hand speed and great ring generalship. De Los Santos Lopez. And now Lopez gets some work done here in the corner. Referee going to separate the action, and unfortunately Yigit just doesn't look like he's got enough in his arsenal to really be able to pull this out. Youngster at 20 years old, this is prime time for him. This is his first major world tournament, and he's seen what it's like at the top of this amateur game. He's got plenty of time to hone his skills, sharpen his craft. Confidence is not something he lacks. He's willing to stand in there with a world-class boxer like Lopez here, and that's great testament to not only his training and his fundamentals, but also his will and his heart. Showing great heart here, as he has not stopped throwing punches. He just can't figure out how to get them to land cleanly. But that will come, young Anthony, that will come in time. As Lopez goes to congratulate his corner, the corner of Yigit, for a job well done. Like I say, unfortunately, it's seemingly just not enough for Anthony Yigit, and Lopez will likely skate into the next round and earn himself another berth in the Olympic Games. He was there in Beijing in 2008, where he lost to Azerbaijan Talasbayev 9-7 in the first preliminary round, and hopes to do better than that in London next summer. And as we await the final decision, the judges at ringside are going to tally up the points, and there you have it. Everton Lopez de Los Santos moves on to the semifinals tomorrow. Congratulations to him, and great effort to young Anthony Yigit. I'm sure we will be seeing you again real soon on the circuit. There's a little action to take you out from that last round. You see Yigit scoring actually quite effective there with a lunging left hook. Not bad. Not bad at all. And here's De Los Santos getting his work done. There's another angle of that same sequence.
Judge number 2, China. Judge number 3, USA. Judge number 4, Lithuania. Judge number 5, Stalker. Coach number 429, men's light welter, 64 kilograms,
and now the next bout. By the way, folks, we are halfway through this first session, where we will have been watching the men's light welterweight division at 64 kilograms. We've got two more bouts, the one you see boxers entering the ring for right now at 64 kilograms, and then we're going to shift to the light heavyweight division, where they get a little bigger and a little stronger. 81 kilograms. That'll wrap up this morning's session. Jones Kennedy, the referee from Brazil, for this, the seventh bout of the session, where we have Wang, Meng, Lorado, Bagnavicius, and Caulfield, the judges, for this 64 kilogram matchup between Vincenzo Mangiacarpre from Italy, 22-year-old, and Zdenek Chladek from the Czech Republic, 21 years old. So we've got two youngsters. Mangiacarpre took first place in the Italian Junior National Championship. Second place, that was in 07. In 09, he took second place. at the same event. In 2010, he grabbed 6th spot in the European Championships in Moscow, lost to Gyula Kate, who we saw earlier from Hungary, move on into the semifinal round. And he also took 3rd, the bronze, the Felix Stam tournament in Warsaw, Poland this year. And last but not least, he grabbed the bronze this year, earlier at the European Championships in Ankara, losing to, who else? Thomas Stalker, who we actually saw fight earlier this afternoon. Chladek, on the other hand, grabbed the bronze at the AIBA Youth World Championships in Mexico. He also was the World Senior Championship participant in Chicago, the AIBA event in 2007, where he lost to Edvijas Kavaliauskas from Lithuania. And of course, the Felix Stam tournament, he grabbed the gold in 2009, did Chladek, and he also grabbed 2nd, the silver, at the Laszlo Papp tournament in Hungary earlier this year. So there's a little background on both boxers, and let's see how we're doing here in the ring. Again, we have Mangiacarpre in the red corner and Chladek in the blue corner. 64 kilograms. Mangiacarpre keeping his hands down. Slickster throws her right, circles to his left, boxing in the, looks like he's boxing in the orthodox style right now is Mangiacarpre. Perhaps he's switching it up though as he goes. It's hard to tell. His footwork, his stance changes even when he's not throwing punches. Seemingly ready to throw from either hand when necessary. Now he's back in the orthodox stance. Chladek keeping a high guard, continuing to press the action. Some fancy body movement by Mangiacarpre. He's very fast. Looks like a young Poli Malignaggi in there, fellow countryman. And there's a left hand by Mangiacarpre, which sails over the head of Chladek. Mangiacarpre keeping a steady pace here. So there's a nice uppercut from an interesting angle. He's clearly an angular technician, is Mangiacarpre, which is nice because a lot of boxers aren't well equipped to handle that. The best way to handle that, of course, is to just keep a high, tight guard to protect your face and your body, and almost don't have to worry too much where the angles are coming from in that instance. However, it's when you don't have that fundamentally sound defense where those angles become more difficult to defend against. Let's see if Chladek will be able to hold that onslaught of angulars from Mangiacarpre and come back with some scoring of his own. He hasn't thrown too many punches. Seems to be a little gun shy here in round one is Chladek. Perhaps he's just using this as a feeling out round. The referee is going to now, well, looked like he was going to caution the boxers, but instead boxing resumes here, and Chladek trying to figure out the puzzle that Mangiacarpre is presenting him here in round one. Again, great speed, great body movement, great footwork by Mangiacarpre from Italy. Let's see if the Czech boxer gets the sort of advice he needs from his corner to start to press the action some more, be more effective in his offense in round number two. See a replay there from the first round. Left hook by Mangiacarpre sails over the head of a bobbing and weaving Chladek. Czech corner, urging the boxer to pay attention and to look like they were trying to tell him to not be fooled by the head movement. And there you see 5-2, Mangiacarpre. Vincenzo Mangiacarpre pulls ahead with a quick lead, somewhat decisive in round one. And Mangiacarpre continues to stay at a distance, circle. See some really good body movement there. He's going to be very hard to hit if he maintains that upper body movement. The best thing Chladek could do when a guy's like that well, other than that maneuver right there, which would be to throw him to the ground, would be to work on the body. He needs to corner Mangiacarpre. He needs to try and walk him down. Cut off the ring would be the order of the day for Chladek. If he could somehow slow Mangiacarpre down by getting in there and working the body, then it's not going to matter how much head movement Mangiacarpre is doing, because Chladek will be able to corner him, will be able to minimize the head movement, will be able to throw to the body, and perhaps start to slow Mangiacarpre down. That's the only way to slow a boxer like this down right now. Corner him and go to the body. And of course, really go to the body. I mean, rip shots to the body, cause Mangiacarpre to think twice about even letting him get close. And now the referee is going to caution Chladek for turning. And a sneaky little uppercut by Mangiacarpre. That really didn't do much. If it even had connected, I can't imagine it would have done much. Wasn't coming with much power. And now the referee is going to issue another caution to Chladek, and Mangiacarpre is going to continue doing what he does best, which is using fancy movement like that to avoid any harm by Chladek. Nice left-handed uppercut by Mangiacarpre, and see, it's really sloppy. He shouldn't be walking in. That's sort of a cocky style. It's a little bit overconfident. I mean, he may have the speed at his advantage, but there's no need for him to keep his hands completely down like that. It's just opposite of everything that you learn in the amateurs and in the pros, for that matter. By then, you should have learned the fundamentals, but it's just not an effective way to box, even if you have the speed to pull it off. Even if you have the confidence to wear it well. It may look good for the fans, but what really looks good for the fans, I'll tell you, it's when your flag is raised to the rafters higher than all the others. And that only comes from sound, effective fundamentals. This may get you through the early rounds, but once you get to that high level of world competition, those guys will have an answer for this, trust me. So far, Mangiacarpre seems to be able to have his way with the young Chladek. Left, right by Mangiacarpre, as again he continues to retreat with his hands completely down. See, Chladek can prevent that. He can prevent those hands by being down, by making Mangiacarpre put him up. The way he does that is by landing effective punches. The way he does that is by cornering Mangiacarpre, cutting off the ring, and not letting him play this game, if you will, of cat and mouse, peekaboo style that Mangiacarpre's so far engaging in. And now as Chladek lunges forward, you know, it looks good to see him staying aggressive. Unfortunately, it's not going to be effective because Mangiacarpre is just too slick. He's too fast, and he'll do that all day, I'm sure of it, if Chladek lets him. Here's a replay from round 2. You see Chladek with his hands up pretty nicely. They're up high. However, you know, Mangiacarpre isn't really throwing that many damaging punches. It seems like he's more interested in stealing punches where he can, and for the most part just skating away. And that's a 5-3 round for Mangiacarpre. Brings a lead to 10-5, so he's got quite a convincing lead. And with the style he's employed up through now, I've got to imagine at a 5-point lead that he doesn't need to do anything differently. On round 3, he'd be well advised to do exactly what he's doing. It's worked for him through 2 rounds, and it'll work for him again unless Chladek could somehow figure out a way to bull rush him, cut off the ring, and start laying the leather. Heavy shots. He needs to start throwing. He looks like a strong puncher, this Chladek. He looks like he's built for power, whereas Mangiacarpre perhaps may be more built for speed. And now Chladek gets into the grill of Mangiacarpre, and look at that. Mangiacarpre didn't like it too much. Chladek is now figuring out a way to stay on him. He's got Mangiacarpre up against the ropes. Mangiacarpre definitely looking a little annoyed by that, trying to swat the fly away. That seems to be buzzing in his face. Throws out a sloppy left-hand jab. I mean, you know, that sort of jab is really not going to do anything for Mangiacarpre. And now again, Chladek is going to be cautioned for turning his body. Oh, whipping right hand. I mean, look at Mangiacarpre. His hands are completely down. He's got to know that this will not work as he progresses to the next level. It just won't. It can't. And it certainly won't work in the Olympics, which he will be a participant at, as it looks like he should skate through a victory in this bout, earning himself a slot in London.
Red corner, Berinchyk, France. Blue corner, Xinjiang, Korea.
And as we see the referee looking closely as Mangiacarpre just picking shots at will. Again, many of them not landing, being blocked by the high-guarded Czech. Zdenek, Chladek. And there's another baby uppercut. Look at that. I mean, Mangiacarpre is basically just swatting his hands. He's not even putting any mustard on those punches. And the referee's going to, again, issue a caution to both boxers. Keep their heads up. Don't lead with their heads. And now down goes Mangiacarpre with a lazy knee. Looked like he was none too disappointed by having to hit the canvas. Can't imagine he's tiring. Perhaps a little bit of laziness. Can't really tell what that fall was for, but here he is back on his horse and riding high. Vincenzo Mangiacarpre. He's got a lot of natural talent. You can just see that speed and that footwork, that body movement. If he would just employ more sound fundamentals with his hands on both offense and defense, throwing more punches, more combinations, putting more pepper on those punches. Those jabs shouldn't be flicked out there. They should be thrown out there like a ramrod. Boom, right into the chin of his opponent. Right there, an opponent with a high guard that doesn't have to worry about those jabs because they're not going to penetrate. Seems to be very content watching himself make his opponent miss, and looks like that'll do it for Vincenzo Mangiacarpre and Zdenek Chladek. This one is in the books, folks. They hug in the center of the ring. The Italian boxer celebrates. There's no doubt expected victory here, as Chladek, perhaps a little more forlorn at what is seemingly his expected fate here. And we'll wait for the final official decision from the referee in just a moment. And there you have it. Vincenzo Mangiacarpre from Italy comes away with the victory. (16-9) is the total. And as he respectfully holds the rope open, some words of advice, no doubt. Congratulatory words as well from both boxers, as they may just meet again down the road. They're both young. They both got a lot of amateur action left in each. You just look back here at some of the action from the last round where Mangiacarpre continues to avoid the onslaught by Chladek, and that'll do it for that bout, folks. And we've got one more 64-kilogram bout here in this morning session. It's the 8th bout, and it is between Iran and Mongolia. Mehdi Toloutibandpi making his way to the ring right now. To the red corner. Followed by the blue corner from Mongolia. He is Monk Erdine Berinchyk. Berinchyk, 29 years old. Rene Just, by the way, from Slovakia, is the referee. The judges, as you see, Militia, Butar, Putashidis, Germain, and Pizarro for this light welterweight contest. Monk Erdene, 29 years old, 174 centimeters tall. He's from Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. He boxes for the Kangard Boxing Club, and he brings with him a wealth of experience as well. He was a 2008 Olympian in Beijing, placed 7th, with a loss at the 64-kilogram weight class to Alexis Vastine of France. That was a 12-4 loss in the quarterfinals. So close. Close he came. He's going to try and get even closer in London if he could get through this bout right here. He was a 2009 bronze medalist at the AIBA World Championships in Milan. He's also a member of the World Series of Boxing, where he lost to the Mexican Juan Pablo Romero in the first round in 2010. First place in the Mongolian National Championships this year, and second place in the Felix Stam tournament in Warsaw. And last but not least, he grabbed the gold earlier this year in the Asian Championships in Incheon with a win against Park Sang-hyuk, 21-8 in the final. So here you have it. Monk Erdene is in the blue corner, and Mehdi is in the red corner. Mehdi from Iran, Monk Erdene from Mongolia. And as you see, Monk now, the taller boxer, starting to feel his men out. We're a minute into this first round. And Mehdi trying to figure out a way to score. Hasn't really let his hands go just yet. There he starts to let them go, and a little roughhousing in the center of the ring, and down goes Mehdi. Referee Rene Just is going to instruct Mehdi to wipe his hands, and he's going to also caution Monk to be careful on the throws and the roughhousing tactics. Monk's been to this dance before. He knows what it's like. He's got all the tricks up his sleeves, and he's got fast hands. You could see he's able to score with those lead right hands. It's boxing in the southpaw style to Mehdi's orthodox style. Monk very light on his feet, very active with his hands. He's got a nice stiff jab. He's willing to throw it both to the chest and to the head, which is nice. Nice to see the assortment of punches and the assortment of locations for which he's throwing them. And there's a nice right hand by Mehdi. Looks like it's scored on the chin. Mehdi continues to lunge forward and tries to press the action. Again, good on his toes. He's light. He's got good reflexes. He's got long arms, and he knows how to commit to those punches. You can tell he's throwing them with authority. I'd like to see more combinations from Monk. It seems like he has the capability to score if he wants to. He should be throwing more combinations, it would seem. He lands a sloppy right there, and here comes Mehdi, seeming to chase him around the ring. Never a good style for the boxer that's being chased. You always want to be the chasee rather than the chaser. The chasee has more time to think. The chasee has more time to know what's going to happen. Why? Because he's the one that's leading the action. Even though he's on the defensive, it would seem, when he's retreating, he could choose to retreat and turn left. He could choose to retreat and circle right. As a result, he knows where he's going to be a second before he's there. Whereas the chaser doesn't know where the chasee is going to be. He just has to continue to chase and turn, never really being able to plant his feet, never being able to really get his action going. And as you could see after round one, it's 8-4 Monk over Mehdi, Mongolia over Iran. Again, the Irani boxer, instead of chasing Monk down, would be better served to be more thoughtful in his attack. To just chase Monk down willy-nilly is going to make for an easy matchup for Monk. Instead, why not slow it down a little bit? Force Monk to bring the action to him. Maybe rely on some counter-punching. See if he can't somehow cut off the ring instead of just bull-rushing Monk and chasing him down. Be that as it may, 8-4, Monk Erdene after 1 round. Here comes Monk again, light on his toes. Nice stiff right hand followed by a left. That's a good combination by Monk. And there's a left to the body, another great punch. He sees how that's a loose guard being employed by Mehdi, and he's taking full advantage of it here in round number 2. This is Castle Chalice calling the action from ringside here at the 16th World Championships of the AIBA boxing tournament, known as the gateway to the 2012 London Olympics. Those that progress past this round earn themselves a spot, a ticket, round trip to London. Hopefully that's a full stay and not a shortened trip. They want to get there and they want to make it to the highest platform. They want their flag to be raised high and bring that gold medal back to their country. Monk is hopeful that he's going to get another shot at that. Again, he was a 2008 Olympian. He knows what it's like to be on this stage. I'd like to see him being a little more active. He's choosing his punches carefully, or perhaps too carefully. It would seem that he could do what he wants here in the ring with the Iranian boxer at this point. He's got a lot more tools at his disposal, a lot more experience to rely upon. The Iranian is not going away easily, though. He's showing some good heart, showing some good confidence, not throwing enough punches, and perhaps even a little perplexed at this point as round 2 winds down. Referee Rene Just going to issue a caution to Mehdi. And now he's going to let boxing resume here with just 30 seconds left in the second round. And as Monk continues to press the action, definitely the more effective aggressor is Monk Erdene. Throws a right hand, misses, lunges forward with a left, falls short as well, and there he's able to snap a right hand in. Looks like it spun Mehdi. Maybe not did too much damage, but enough to phase him, just for a brief moment at least. And that's it, folks. That is round number 2 in the books. And the Mongolian boxer will most likely pull away even further from the lead he had going into round number 2. We look at some replay action from that last round, and you could see Monk just really the busier boxer, both hands firing on on both cylinders rather. And there's a left to the body. That was a nice quick body shot that no doubt scored good points for him. And you see him in the corner there sort of recharging the battery, and it's a 9-2 round for Monk Erdene, making the total 17-6. That's a deficit of monstrous proportions for young Mehdi here, because 11 points down in the 3rd round of a world championship bout when your opponent is a former world championship participant. He's a former Olympic boxing participant, and he's the ultimate stylist with lots of confidence and lots of experience. And Mehdi is going to really have his work cut out for him. Again, you know, it's not impossible. Being down on points is not the end of the bout, because in boxing, as we know, one punch can change that. One huge shot can send Monk to the canvas, from which he may not return. However, Mehdi's going to have to really figure out a way to land that punch. It's not going to be easy. He needs to push. It would seem like he needs to push Mehdi around a little bit, but he can't just push him around. He needs to push him around with one goal in mind, and that's to land the big shot. He was the aggressor perhaps in round one, bull rushing Monk. In round two, it started to even out, and now it looks like in round three, Mehdi is the one who's more on the defensive, and Monk is just dancing his way to victory here. I say boxing is like ballet, except there's no choreography and the dancers are getting hit. And that's what Monk is making this look like right now. Nice right hand down the pike by Mehdi. Minute and a half to go in this third round. Again, we'd like to commend AIBA and the Azerbaijani Boxing Federation for putting on a wonderful performance here. This is a tournament of tremendous organizational detail, and they've done a wonderful job, yeoman's work. This arena is going to start to fill up as the event goes on, and it's going to be at fever pitch capacity, no doubt, come finals time. The Azerbaijanis love their boxing, as do we all. And now it's just a cat fight in there as both boxers clawing their way, trying to make it to the finish line. Mehdi seems to be somewhat disillusioned at this point. He stopped throwing the punches the way he had been earlier. He stopped charging Monk the way he had been earlier. His hands are starting to drop. He's down a lot of points, and there's a big right hand that, if it landed, may have done some serious damage. However, it seemed to fall short, and at the same time was thrown while being off balance, and as a result, you saw him hit the canvas the way he did. And Monk is too slick to be caught by that trick. Too slick to be caught by that punch. And a whipping right hand by Mehdi, but that's just too little too late here, as this bout is now in the books, and we shall see in just a moment the official score, but it seems fairly certain at this point that Mangiacarpre did enough in that third round, if not more than enough, to maintain his lead and thus the victory. And there it is, folks. Mangiacarpre is able to grab the victory with a 24-9, a commanding win for Mangiacarpre Berinchyk. And Mongolia will have their boxer in the Olympics, and Monk will go on to the semifinals tomorrow. And good job. You did what you could, did Mehdi. Just wasn't good enough, not against the caliber of boxers you're going to meet here at the AIBA World Championships.
Judge number 1, Tunisia. Judge number 2, Ecuador. Judge number 3, Brazil. Judge number 4, Italy. Judge number 5, India.
We're going to get ready in just a moment to introduce our boxers. You can see there in the far corner of this arena now, we've got Russia versus America. Another interesting matchup, as there are many interesting matchups throughout this tournament, and they're only going to get more interesting as the event progresses. Meng Fanglong from China making his way to the ring right now. Referee Jose Trueba from Cuba, looking stern, looking ready. Bram, Carrillo, Kennedy, Foti, and Cowley. They're your judges for this light heavyweight matchup, where the boys get bigger and the punches get stronger. 81 kilograms. There's 4 bouts of these to wrap up the session. Zemel Bazjak from Bosnia-Herzegovina, 26 years old. He was at this event in 2009 AIBA World Championships. He lost to Asani Fain, 10-7 in the first preliminary round, but he's stayed quite active since that time in his native land, and he actually grabbed gold, first place at the Bosnian and Herzegovinian National Championships earlier this year. And he even participated in the European Championship. So Bazjak ready for action here. Meng Fang Long, 23 years old. He was the AIBA Junior World Championship participant back in 2006. He was also in Milan in 2009 at the AIBA World Championships, where he lost to Gilberto Castillo from the Dominican Republic 4-2 in the second preliminary. He grabbed third in the 2010 Asian Games in Guangzhou Province, China. And more recently, he grabbed the silver, second place in the Asian Championships in Incheon, Korea earlier this year. So both boxers have been to this event before. They know what it means, except this time the stakes are higher. This time the stakes are filet mignon. This time the stakes are not T-bone. It is the London Olympics that goes the victor of this bout. Bazjak in the red corner, Fang Long in the blue. And in a minute into this round, we see a steady pace. Both boxers are lean and mean. Bazjak throws a left hook, sails over Fang Long's head. Fang Long, boxing in the southpaw style, throws a jab to the body. There's another jab to the head by Fang Long. A chopping right hand by Bazjak. And now Bazjak leads. Now Bazjak standing in the southpaw style as well. A lot of these boxers seem to enjoy the flip-flopping from southpaw to conventional. It's rarely a technique that is recommended. I mean, at the highest caliber and level of boxing, perhaps it can be effective. But most boxers that employ that tactic ends up being more for show than for effectiveness. There's nothing more effective than just boxing in the most fundamental of styles, using your jab, using your high guard. Effective power punching, straight and short punches is always the name of the game. And now Bazjak throws a left hand that sails over the head of Fang Long, and Fang Long and him tie up in the center of the ring. And the lunging Bazjak comes forward, and Fang Long is able to deflect that rush. And now Fang Long has Bazjak up against the ropes. They lock horns, and a nice chopping left baby hook by Bazjak on the break. He's definitely the more physical of the boxers. He looks like the shorter, stronger boxer, does Bazjak, but that's never a guarantee one way or the other. Sometimes the shorter, stronger boxer grabs the victory. Sometimes the longer, leaner boxer grabs the victory. It all really depends on how you use your physical tools. Chopping left hand, that one sent, the left hand by Bazjak sent him to the ground, but that was more of a slip and certainly ruled that way by the referee. A lunging right hand there and a left hand by Bazjak. Fang Long gets his water in the corner. You see the score, Fang Long 5-2 over Bazjak. Very animated corner of Meng Fang Long. They're urging their boxer on. Although he's got a few point lead going in, it's not enough. And you can't blame them. You can't leave anything for chance. Not at this level. This is Castle Chalice. Pulling your action here at the Heydar Aliyev Sports Complex in Baku, Azerbaijan. It's the 16th World Championships for AIBA. Over 650 boxers from around the world have converged on Baku in the last 2 weeks to participate in this tournament, all with their eye on the prize, the 2012 London Summer Olympics. The victors at this point on, this is this round of 16, the victors get a slot at the London Olympics, as well as advance to the semifinal round of this tournament. Competition will continue to pick up. It is an elimination style tournament. Every boxer you are watching today and here on forward has eliminated at least one, and after today 2 boxers to get here, and in some instances 3 or 4. It's quite a logistical challenge for the organizers of this event with so many boxers and so many weight classes. Certain times boxers have gotten buys to get through a round or 2. That could be based on the matchups, that could be based on their world rankings or other previous accolades that they've received that have granted them such a license. But now every bout is on even footing, and each boxer has to earn his way to the next round. We are exactly halfway through this first light heavyweight bout between Berinchyk from Bosnia and Herzegovina in the red corner and Fang Long from China in the blue corner. And a ripping right hand by Berinchyk misses its mark. And now Berinchyk pushes forward, presses the action, and he clods over Meng. And Meng hits the canvas, but he's back up quickly. And there's a little roughhousing going on there, some chin pushing. A little plexing in the center of the ring. And Berinchyk continues to try and figure out a way to answer the great defense, the spatial awareness of Fang Long Meng. Rarely has a boxer progressed to the highest levels of either amateur or professional without a strong and learned jab, and Meng would be well served, or rather, check that, Berinchyk would be well served. Well, both boxers for that matter, but it looks like Berinchyk is going to need to use that to get inside that and some fancy footwork to get inside the long-armed wheelhouse of Meng Fang Long. You can see some action from round number 2 as both boxers meet in the center of the ring there. And that's another 5-2 round for Meng Fang Long, so he's starting to really pull away here and show his pedigree 10-4 after 2 rounds for the Chinese boxer. And as we begin the 3rd and final round here, Fang Long pushes his opponent off of him. And here comes Berinchyk. And again, they lock up. Getting a little sloppy in here. Both boxers seem to be content with locking up in the middle and throwing one shot at a time, also known as pot shotting, and actually trying to really mix it up and throw combinations. You can understand why that may be the case for Fang Long, as he's got a strong lead going into this third round. But as for Bozjak, it would seem that he needs to figure out a way to start landing those heavy punches. Get inside, use his footwork, cut off the ring, bang to the body of Feng Mang Long, and try and end this one with a surprising come-from-behind knockout victory. Can Bozjak do it? There's that bull rush, that the Lion's right hand that seems to claw in there, but it's just not really landing. It's not even coming close to landing, and as a result, it's unlikely to do it, but you never know. One punch is all it takes. There's the manly art of self-defense. Just over a minute to go here in this third and final round of this men's light heavyweight bout. And now Bozjak punches himself to the ground by practically jumping off his feet, throwing himself off balance, and at the same time getting a caution from the judge for turning his back. A lunging Bozjak comes forward, but to no avail, as Feng Long continues to lock horns with him and tie him up in the center of the ring. Whenever Bozjak tries to lunge forward, Meng does a good job of just tying him up. Either that or escaping, as he does there, by going back into the side, and therefore keeping Bozjak off balance for pretty much most of the fight, and never really being able to plant his feet and get a steady anchor, a foundation from which to throw his punches, is why we have the score that we have thus far. And that's it, folks. That is going to do it for this bout. It's now in the books. Meng Fang Long likely to make it into the next round, the semifinal round, and earn himself a berth in London. Bozjak looking a little worse for wear there. There's not too much marking on the face, but you could just see other things in his face, like the disappointment in his performance here, as he knows what the judges now know and what we'll all know soon enough, which is the victor of this bout, who will likely be Meng Fang Long, and it is. China with a 13-6 victory over Bosnia-Herzegovina, and that puts this one in the books. Congratulations to Meng Fang Long, who are now a semifinalist to 2011 AIBA World Championships right here at the Haydar Aliyev Sports Complex in Baku, Azerbaijan. I am Castle Chalice, keeping you informed here as we could look back and see some of the action from the last round. There's a little pushing and shoving going on, but at this point it's really not that important because we know that Meng Fang Long is the victor. 3 more bouts, folks, in the light heavyweight division. Jason Monroy making his way from Colombia into the red corner, 26 years old. And making his way to the blue corner for Kazakhstan is Adilbek Nysanbekov, 22 years old. So we've got a 26-year-old and a 22-year-old. Hans Brovel, the referee from Denmark, looking solemn. Chladek Puchadis, Caulfield, Hassan, and Butar are your judges and officials for this bout. Jason Monroy from Colombia, originally from Bogota, has himself some good experience. He was at this dance once before in 2009, the AIBA World Championships in Milan. He was a participant there. He lost to Kenny Egan from Ireland in the 81 kilogram weight class. The score is 16-7. That was in the third preliminary round. However, he grabbed gold at the Central American and Caribbean Games in Mayagüez, Puerto Rico in 2010. And again, he grabbed the bronze at the second Pan American Games qualifier in Quito, Ecuador earlier this year. Adelbek, to his credit, grabbed first place, the gold, at the Nurmagomedov tournament in Almaty, Kazakhstan earlier this year, and he has plenty of experience as well. He was a junior champion, gold medalist at the Asian Games in Almaty, Kazakhstan back in 2007, and we see both boxers meet here in the center of the ring. So we've got Jason in the red corner and Adelbek in the blue corner. Colombia versus Kazakhstan, and here we go. It's starting to get loud in here, folks. You could really hear and feel the energy as it starts to rise. Kazakhstani boxers bring a wealth of fundamental experience to the ring. The Colombians bring a wealth of jazz and style, and this will make for quite an interesting matchup. You could feel the energy. A nice right-left combination by Jason. And now Adelbek stands strong, stands tall, rips a left to the body, and here comes Jason with a left-right combination of his own. Left-hand jab falls short of its mark by Jason. A right to the chin by Jason. And now the referee is going to issue a caution. It's going to separate the boxes for just a moment, but only a moment, as Adelbek is right there in the face of Monroy. Nysanbekov looking for an opportunity to score. For the most part, he's been measuring his opponent, gauging him, and hasn't really let his hands go just yet. Monroy seemingly a little more active on his feet, although not necessarily effectively more active, just more visibly active. He seems to be pulling his punches, does Monroy. I don't know that they're really actually being thrown with enough extension to make a connection to his opponent's body or face, at least not from where he's standing. Nysanbekov now starts to rip some shots and turns his opponent, and now Monroy a little bit on the defensive. Nysanbekov backing up a little bit, pulling out his jab. For the most part, though, measuring his man. Whipping a right hand comes an aggressive Monroy. And now he chases Nysanbekov around the ring, and Nysanbekov is more than content, it seems, to play possum here through the first round. The referee's going to issue a caution to Monroy to keep his head up. And a nice sneaky left hand by the Kazakhstani boxer that connects to the side of the head of Monroy. And round number one is in the books. So both of the boxers are going to go to their corner for some last minute or 1 minute advice. Get watered down, get replenished, and get cooled off. And there's the score after round 1, 5-2. Nysanbekov. That seems about right based on what we saw. Starting to get loud in here as the fans are starting to fill out the arena somewhat and cheer their boxers on. And now Nysanbekov is backpedaling as Monroy comes forward. Monroy chasing his man down. Again, he seems to be pulling those punches. He's not getting full extension, and as a result, he's not really going to score points with those. If he wants to keep pulling them like that, he's going to have to get inside. However, that's not very recommended, and I don't think it's going to be very easy. And down goes Monroy. Looks like a clean punch, and this may be it, folks. Monroy is down, and it does not look like he's getting up. He's through the ropes. Can't really tell what impact it had. Looked like it could have been a shot to the face, maybe a body shot. However, the referee still, could it be a low blow? It's hard to say how the ref has seen this. May need to poll the judges, as we have Nysanbekov in the neutral corner as he's been told to stay by the referee, and Monroy is still down. We're going to have to catch a replay to see exactly what happened. If that was a clean shot, it's clearly a knockout victory to Nysanbekov. However, if the judge or the referees feel they saw a low blow, clearly the boxer cannot continue, so this bout will be over. I believe the question is whether or not it's going to end in disqualification based on some sort of intentional misaligned shot or intentional low blow, or whether it's just going to be a clean shot that Monroy could not get up from. Either way, we're going to see now as the corner of Nysanbekov has removed the headgear. You're going to see it right now, folks. As Monroy comes in, you see a flat, yeah, you know what, that was going to be a clean uppercut. From what we could see, there was no body shot even thrown by the Kazakhstani boxer. It looked like a clean uppercut that just literally caught Monroy off guard and sent him down. He seems to be agonizing over his midsection, though, which makes it a little harder to understand as to what happened. Now, clearly, the referee is polling the judges to try and get some answers. He's going to call the boxers to the center of the ring, it seems. And it looks like, folks, this is going to be a knockout victory, the first so far of this round, to the Kazakhstani boxer. Still the grimacing look on the face of Jason Monroy from Colombia. Clearly still in some sort of discomfort. And it is a victory to Adilbek Nysanbekov from Kazakhstan. What was undoubtedly a laser uppercut that scored right on the chin and put Monroy down for the count, and he could not get up well past 10. He had fallen through the bottom rope of the apron, bottom rope and onto the apron on the exterior side of the ring. And you're going to probably hopefully get a better angle right here. Watch, it looks like it's going to be a right-handed uppercut. Make that a left, you know what it was? It was a left uppercut, looked like to the sternum. May have just taken the complete wind out of Monroy. It's hard to see where it lands from that angle, but if I'm not mistaken, that was an uppercut that landed somewhere between the upper torso and the neck, perhaps the chin, but it looked a little lower than a headshot, and Monroy didn't see it coming, neither did we, and boom, down and out for the count. And as they say, the lights may be on in the stadium, but they seem to go out for Jason Monroy. And that is a victory and a quick and sudden end to that bout. Brings us to the 11th bout on the draw sheet. It is again a men's light heavyweight contest. This will be between Uzbekistan and Brazil. The Uzbeki boxer in the red corner coming in first. His name is Elshad Rasulev, 25 years old, 186 centimeters tall, boxes for
Club Fergana out of Fergana, Uzbekistan. He's coached by Mansour Mahmudov. And now making his way, well, let's just take a quick look to Mick Bassi, the referee from England for this bout. He'll be your third man in the ring controlling the action. And the judges, Seagwan, Brahms, Zooks, Just, and Carrillo, will be counting the punches from ringside. And again, the blue corner, who's actually already in the ring first, he is Yamaguchi Falco Florentino from Brazil. He's 23 years old. So there you have it, Rasulov and Falcao. Rasulov has an impressive amateur pedigree. We could start by the 2007 World Senior Championships in Chicago. That's this event 4 years ago. He lost at the 75 kilogram weight class. He was a little lighter back then. Understandable. He lost to Argenis Nunez from the Dominican Republic by a KO in the fourth round, or the fourth, a KO in the third round. However, in 2008, he had a ticket to the Summer Olympic Games in Beijing, where he lost to Emilio Correa from Cuba 9-7 in the quarterfinals. And he was here at the AIBA World Championship event in Milan in 2009, where he came in second place with a loss to Arthur Berbetbiev. So 2 World Championships and an Olympic game to his credit, not to mention first place at the Asian Games last year. Make Elshad Rasulov quite the boxer in this tournament. On the other hand, Florentino, no slouch. He was a 2006 AIBA Junior World Champion, a first Pan American Olympic qualifier in 2008. He was a senior champion bronze medalist in the 2009 Pan American Games, AIBA President's Cup right here in Baku. He got the bronze in 2009, and let's not forget that he is a member of the World Series of Boxing, AIBA's new and exciting professional style boxing league. So Florentino for Brazil in the blue corner, Rasulov for Uzbekistan in the red corner. And as we are watching the first round of this action, we are here at the Heydar Aliyev Sports Complex in Baku, Azerbaijan. This is the 16th World Championships. I am Castle Chalice, and a chopping right hand by Florentino. And Rasulov lets the referee do his job and separate them, put a stop to that. A left hand by Rasulov. Boxing out of the southpaw style is Rasulov. Throws a right to the belly, falls without much power, much wallop. And now Rasulov pushes his man back a little bit. A left hand to the body by Rasulov, scores to the belly, and now a left hand upstairs is blocked by Florentino. Right-left combination by Rasulov, and Florentino looking to get into his rhythm. Looking for an opportunity. There's a right hand to the face, but seems a little disappointed with the way that landed, and sort of walked away from that exchange with his hands down. Left hand by Rasulov. A nice ripping right and a left and a right. A 3-punch body shot combination by Rasulov, all with effective authority to the midsection of the Brazilian, Yamaguchi Falco Florentino. Right to the body by Rasulov, showing some good stewardship in there. Seems very mindful, a very thoughtful boxer. He looks like he's trying to think his way to a game plan, looking for that opening before he throws it, deciding where he wants to punch and then executing. Rasulov very fast. Not just his hands, but his feet and his body. He seems to be very well balanced, is Rasulov. He's got a nice wide stance. Gives him a nice solid foundation for throwing his punches and also for being quick to react to anything that Falco throws his way. Now Falco comes in with his head down, and that's the end of round number 1. We should see a score in just a moment. A fairly close one. And now you see some rabbit punching by the Brazilian. The referee is going to certainly caution that. There won't be any shenanigans like that allowed. The referee and the judges here for AIBA are all third-star, world-class. They're the best trained officials and judges that AIBA has to offer, and they are good and accurate. 5-3, Gadzhialieyev over Falco at the end of round number 1. So we've seen some game boxing by both of these participants here, and the referee is going to bring them to scratch here for the second round. This is a men's light heavyweight round 16 bout. Gadzhialieyev in the red corner from Uzbekistan, Florentino in the blue from Brazil. Gadzhialieyev fires away with a piston-like jab 1, 2, 3 times, then a left hand downstairs. Seems like he's got a very good game plan, does Gadzhialieyev. It's keep the pressure on, keep the punches hard, keep the jab effective, and wait for your opportunity, and it will come. That's how it comes. You create your own opportunities in this sport. They don't just happen. You have to create them, and Gadzhialieyev seems more than willing to wait for his opportunity, and he looks very, very well equipped to capitalize on it when he sees it. There's a left hand down to the rib cage by Gadzhialieyev, and Gadzhialieyev does a good job there turning. You notice how Gadzhialieyev pivots and turns. He doesn't necessarily have to retreat or move away. He just simply has to turn his body enough to keep Falco guessing, to keep guessing which way he's going to turn, to keep guessing where his punches are going to come from next, and to ultimately do his business. And you can see right there Gadzhialieyev throwing nice rights to the body, followed by a left overhand to the head. That one sails over the head of the Brazilian, but the Brazilian, not to be denied, continues to press the action, and it seems to fall right into the game plan of Gadzhialieyev. Seems very comfortable being a counterpuncher in this instance. A nice sharp right hand by Gadzhialieyev snuck in the guard and landed on the jaw of Falco. Falco's going to have to keep those hands up and keep that guard tight because this Gadzhialieyev is accurate.
Right.
Now they lock up in the center. There's a minute left to go in this round. Sharp right hand by Gadzhialieyev. And there's a left hand by the Brazilian boxer, which doesn't quite find its mark. And now he's bobbing and weaving. You know, the Brazilian boxer needs to get more active. He was down in the first round. He'll likely be down in the second if the first was any indication. And he's just not throwing enough punches. He seems to be somewhat confused by this matrix of a boxer that is Gadzhialieyev, and understandably so. He's in there against a top ranked amateur. However, Gadzhialieyev needs to figure something out. He needs to start throwing more punches. Why? Because there is one more round left to decide his fate as it pertains to the London Olympics next summer. If he doesn't get it here, he may be able to catch a shot at the Continental qualifier, which Brazil will no doubt have. However, who knows if he'll be able to participate in that. For a number of reasons, he may not get another chance. This may be the last chance this young man gets to compete in an Olympic Games. The dream of all amateur boxers, and understandably so. So with that being said, Yamaguchi Falco Florentino must throw more punches than he's ever thrown in his life. He actually did a little better in that round. He kept Gadzhialieyev to a 1-point lead as opposed to a 2-point lead in the first round. However, when you add 1 and 2, that makes 3, and that's what gives the Uzbeki boxer a 3-point lead going into this third and final round. 11-8, Gadzhialieyev over Florentino. It's not an insurmountable task. It's not something that the Brazilian can't overcome. But will he be able to? Well, now you start to see him throwing some punches here, more so than he had in rounds 1 or 2, and down goes Florentino from a little roughhousing, maybe a little bit of tiredness on the part of the Brazilian. A lot of nerves, a lot of anxiety leading up to this event. Chopping left hand by Rasulov. A nice ripping left hand to the rib cage by Rasulov. That's a beautiful punch. You know, he's been throwing it for much of the fight, and he seems to be able to throw it whenever he wants. It's as if Falco or Florentino doesn't have an answer for it. I mean, it is a tough punch to block because even if your elbows are in tight as they ought to be, based on the way that Rasulov is moving, he seems to be able to get around that. So, you know, Falco needs to keep circling. He needs to keep his hands a little tighter, but more importantly, needs to start throwing more punches. So what? He throws his punch, he exposes himself, he's going to be open to some counter-punching. Well, you know what? That's his only chance right now. You've got to take some to give some, and there's only 2 minutes left. So what are you going to do, Falco? Are you going to keep punching? Are you going to put it all on the line? Are you going to risk everything? Let's see. Let's see if Yamaguchi, Falco, Florentino has enough in the tank here, as Rasulov knows what he's got. He's got a nice lead going into this round. He's got the experience and the skill level to pull this off. And he seems to have plenty of energy in the tank as well. And he also seems like he could score at will. There's a nice left-right combination, that right rip to the body, but here comes a left by the Brazilian. That one may have scored him a point. Now Rasulov just doing what he needs to here. No need to put himself in harm's way. He just needs to win now. He needs to stay out of harm's way. A nice right to the body by by Falco. Probably scored him a point, but he's going to need more than a point at this point in the match. And now there's just a lot of posturing in the center of the ring. Neither man is really throwing. There's a right hand by Falco. Chopping right hand to the temple of Rasulov. And as the clock winds down to the final moments, both boxers continue to wrestle. It may serve Rasulov's needs. It won't serve Falco's any, as this clock will now tick away into the books of history. And we should be getting a score. Rasulov puts his arm up in apparent victory as he goes back to his corner, as that's what he's likely earned himself, a slot in the 2012 Olympic Games, as well as a shot at competing on now to the semifinals, which will take place tomorrow right here at the Heydar Aliyev Sports Complex in Baku, Azerbaijan. Again, tomorrow will be the quarterfinals, where the boxers will compete for a shot at the semifinals. And the winner, Rasulov, by a victory margin of 17-12, will move on to the quarters. And Yamaguchi, Florentino, good job. You did what you could with the tools you've been given, and you showed good heart. Not enough to get it done tonight. Not that you didn't have enough heart, didn't have enough skills, perhaps. Perhaps today wasn't your day. However, Rasulov was the better man. Congratulations to both boxers for getting this far and for much continued success in their amateur careers. We could see here from the replay what had happened, as was the case for much of the fight, or the bout rather, was that the Brazilian just could not figure out a way to penetrate the defensive and offensive juggernaut that was and is Elshad Rasulov from Uzbekistan. And that brings us to the final bout of this session. It is a men's light heavyweight 81 kilogram matchup between Ireland and Iran. Eshan Razbahani from Iran and Joe Ward from Ireland. Young Joe Ward, only 18 years old, rather. So can't get much younger than that. And he looks fresh-faced and ready to go. This will be the final bout of this morning session here in Azerbaijan. The 12th bout of the lineup will then move on the afternoon session. There's a lot more boxing to come. The referee for this bout, Bahodir Jumanyazov from Uzbekistan. And Yakub and Kennedy Martinez, Seguan and Just are the officials for this bout. Again, we have Eshan Razbahani from Iran, 23 years old, 192 centimeters tall. He was the Iranian national champion 2008. He came 5th place in the Asian Games in 2010 when he lost to Elshad Rasulev 3-1 in the quarterfinal. That's the same Elshad Rasulev you just saw in the last bout. And in 2011, he grabbed the silver medal at 2nd place in the Yumakhanov Memorial Tournament with a loss to Samir Magomedov of Russia. Joe Ward, also no slouch, here in Baku, grabbed 2nd place, the silver at the Junior Cup in 2008. In 2009, he grabbed 1st place. And then again in 2009, he grabbed gold at the Junior World Championships in Yerevan, Armenia. Joe Ward went on to grab 1st at the AIBA Youth World Championships right here in Baku in 2010. And he grabbed 1st place this year at the European Championships in Ankara. He boxes for Club Moat, coached by Jim Moore, Jimmy Payne, and John Cleary, and he is a southpaw. So Razbani from Iran in the red corner, Ward from Ireland in the blue corner. Razbani boxing in the orthodox style, Ward in the southpaw style. Ward's headgear looks like it's coming on almost to the top of his eyes. Hopefully that's not obstructing his vision any. And as Ward pushes Razbani off, Razbani lunges forward with a right-left combination, both full short. Joe Ward with a nice right-handed jab to the face of the Iranian boxer. And now the Iranian boxer starts to show some good body movement. And Joe Ward and Eshan Razbahani lock up in the center. The referee's going to separate them. Again, they're going to lock up. You see some toe stepping. We talked about this earlier. When you have an orthodox and a southpaw boxer, you tend to get the stepping on of toes because both boxers are leading with opposing feet. And in this instance, you see the left foot of Razbani continuing to step on or be stepped on by the right foot of Joe Ward. That could create for some interesting complications, both from a punching standpoint and a footwork standpoint. It seems quite glaring here in round number 1. Let's see if that continues to become an issue as the bout progresses. And Joe Ward seems to be stealing some thunder with a couple of sneaky right hands in there. Right hand digs to the body by Razbani. Referee cautions him to pay attention to his instructions, and now Joe Ward and he lock up in the center. Joe going to try and sneak in a left hand there. Referee's going to again issue a caution to the boxers. Boxing resumes. A quick left-right hand as Joe Ward switches his stance and back to his southpaw style. Right-left by Joe Ward. For the most part deflected by Razbani, and Razbani up and down, showing varied levels of height as he squats down to the halfway point and then jumps back up, and giving Joe a little challenge as far as how to find his mark. Joe, on the other hand, a little lethargic it seems in there on round 1. He hadn't really thrown too many punches, didn't show too much movement, and I'm sure his corner is going to ask to get a little more productivity out of him as round 2 begins. We look at some action here from round one. You see Joe sticks out that long right-hand jab, and then Razbani is able to connect with a left on the break. And now Joe with a left hook and a chopping right. And there's a right hand wildly thrown by Joe Ward, and his corner is asking for him to use that jab step to jump out and to jump back in and to be more effective with his punches and more active. And look at that, it's a tie score after round one, 4-4. So it did seem evenly matched for the most part, and the judges found it that way exactly. And now the referee is getting ready to call the boxers to the center, and that is it. Here we are, round number 2 underway. In this, the final bout of the morning session. Left hand by Razbani. The referee going to question him about using his head, and here comes Joe Ward with a right-left. They lock up in the center. Joe Ward pushes his man off, and Razbani comes back. Razbani with a left and another left. Joe Ward with a left hook that sails wide over the head of Razbani, and Joe again pushing his man off, trying to create some space and some distance. Although what Joe really needs to do is to start banging away to the body. And Joe looks like a powerful kid. It looks like he could pack a wallop in either hand. However, he hasn't quite let his hands go enough to confirm or rule out that suspicion. A nice right to the body, partially deflected. Thrown by Joe Ward. 1 minute down in round number 2. Getting a little sloppy in there. Both of these boxers seeming a little tired, it would seem, which would be odd because we're still early in this bout. Both of them are young enough to have plenty of gas in the tank to make it through 3 rounds and beyond. You are watching the 16th World Championships here in the Heydar Aliyev Sports Complex in Baku, Azerbaijan, as Joe Ward pushes Razbani off of him. Again, the referee's going to issue a caution, this time to Razbani. They're going to lock horns again, once again in the center. This may become a recurring issue throughout the remainder of this bout. Headlock by Joe Ward, wrong sport. Referee going to advise him of such and issue a warning. You hear the cheers in the crowd for that, as now Razbani may have just gotten a great service bestowed upon him with an additional 2 points for doing nothing but taking a headlock like a man. And now Razbani throws her right hand. Looks like it's landed square on the head of Joe Ward, and Joe maybe a little befuddled in there, as Razbani showing some good angles and some good upper body movement. He seems to have grabbed a sense of urgency after that warning and looks to be a little more intent on settling the score now. The Iranian boxer showing good movement, good judgment. Joe Ward looking to an opportunity to present itself. However, he needs to create that opportunity. It won't come on its own. Left hand by Joe Ward and a right hand counterpunch by Razbani. Looks like it grazed the chin of Joe. Chopping left hook by Joe Ward. And Razbani is crowding his man, keeping the pressure on him, staying on his chest. And with that being said, that is the end of round number 2. We've got one more round to go. We will be right back. So you could see some action there from round number 2 as both of these boxers slug it out like two steers in the rough, locking horns. And you get a good look at the crowd out there as they're really starting to to chant it on. And look at that, 8-4 for Ruzbani. So he did pull away, particularly with the help of that warning. Gives him a 12-8 lead going into round 2. Joe Ward needs to do something. He's got to sense the urgency now. If not now, when, Joe, when? This is it. 3 minutes. Do you have it in the tank, Joe? Can you sneak one in? Can you land that big punch to turn the tide? And you, Razbani, what can you do to continue with this points lead? Remember, 2 of those came from a warning, and while they may help in the score, they don't necessarily help in strategy. He can't count on another one. He needs to figure out how to keep Ward off of him. Ward is clotting forward, plodding his way through. Razbani hasn't quite really figured out much of a rhythm or a tempo. It's been a herky-jerky style through much of this bout. Part of that, as we said, is a result of the contrasting stances. Ward as a southpaw and Razbahani as an orthodox style boxer. Be that as it may, the scoring and the points don't care much for that. They only care for clean, effective punching. That's all that counts. That's all that gets scored. And footwork or no footwork, styles or no styles, can you score points? And if so, how? How can Razbahani figure out a way to keep scoring points, to make this a commanding lead? Or would he rather just stay away, steer clear from the big Joe Ward and skate his way to a victory? Well, looks like Joe now recognizing the urgency, showing some good body movement there that we didn't see in the first 2 rounds. But again, Razbahani doing a good job of locking elbows with Joe and preventing him from landing much in the way of power punches. Referee is going to caution the boxers, hitting behind the head. The left by Joe Ward is ducked by Razbahani, and Razbahani lands a nice stiff right hand to the jaw of Ward, and that looked like it buckled him for just a moment. Left hand and a right by Joe Ward. There's a little over a minute left in this bout. A wild right hand by Ward sails well over the left field fence. And in another sport that may be considered a home run, but in this sport it's considered, well, it could either be a home run or a strikeout in one sport, but in this sport it's just considered a wild miss. And that's exactly what Joe Ward just did with a big right hand. And mouthpiece of Ishan Razbahani is going to be cleaned and replaced back in his mouth as we conclude with the final minute of the final round of the final bout of this first session here at the AIBA World Boxing Championships in Baku. Here at the Heydar Aliyev Sports Complex. And here comes Joe with a nice move to get out of the way of that, and then he didn't even throw a punch. Would have been well served to counter at that moment. Instead, he seemed to look at the referee, and now maybe that's why he felt he was fouled. He was fouled, and the referee is going to give a warning to Razbahani. So there's an additional 2 points in Joe Ward's pocket in the final 20 seconds that he may not have otherwise been able to count on. So has he done enough to keep it close otherwise? It looks like now Joe's sensing the urgency. There's only 10 seconds left. He was down a handful of points going into this round. He just got a favor of 2 thanks to a foul by Razbahani. Is it enough? And there's a wild head. Ew, what was that? That was some sort of headlock guillotine maneuver by Joe Ward that sent Razbahani to the canvas. However, this bout is now over. Razbahani puts his hands up in apparent victory. Joe Ward goes back to his corner, looking a little sullen. And Razbahani thinks he's done enough. Let's see if he has. 23-year-old Ishan Razbahani from Iran, 18-year-old Joe Ward from Ireland, as the judges and the computerized scoring system tally up the scores and send them over to the official scorekeepers. We are going to get word in just a moment which of these boxers will go on to the quarterfinals, as well as represent their country in the London Olympic Games. You're going to have your answer in just a moment. Razbahani seems confident. And it is Ishan Razbahani. He gets the victory for Iran, and he will move on to the quarterfinals, as well as represent his country in the 2012 London Olympic Games. Congratulations to Ishan Razbahani. Congratulations to Joe Ward for a hard-fought effort and for having gotten this far. And as you see a replay from the third round action, referee looking on close, and it seems as though Ward is now pressing the action there from the replay, but again, it was just too little too late for Joe Ward. And that being said, that'll wrap it up, folks. You are now looking at the full arena. It is the end of the morning session. This is Castle Chalice for the 2011 World Championships in Baku. Please stay tuned. We will be back for session 2 in a short while. Thank you.